We about to be live, y'all. We about to be live. And we're only 3 minutes late. That's not too bad. Testing, testing. Welcome people who are on. Give us a couple minutes while we make sure everything's working right. See if we've got good good video, good audio. I'm inside a picture.
If you won't get left out, I'm going to hook up the Sparge or the research stuff.
As you can see, if you're just tuning in, we've got a brew day happening off to my right. Riviera, good morning. So what we're going to be doing, we're going to be able to be switching back. Oh, yeah, go Cougs. Reverend KY. Good morning. Jai Yo, no brewing. Nice, nice. So to frame what's going on today, while people are tuning in, we've got a live brew day happening off to the right at No Drought Brewing Company with a local home brewer who's won a lot of pro-ams. And so today's video is going to be not only watching them brew and partaking in the brew day, but also asking some questions on how you enter homebrew competitions and what strategies you kind of use. So before we jump all the way into that, I guess we should start off with some Genus brewing news. We are about to keg Count Chocula. So Count Chocula V, I don't know how many versions are we on by now, a lot? Some high number. Version whatever high number we've got is going to be coming out.
You guys need to get better at labeling your versions.
We do need to get better at labeling our versions. Matt and Jimmy are going to put on some lav mics in the near future so we can switch back and forth, but I'll show you guys kind of what setup we've got here. So this is me right here off to the side of the Pro-Am. And obviously you saw the full window over there with our two brewers. And here's the power on. Let me know if you can hear Jimmy right now. I just turned on his mic.
Can you hear me?
If you can hear Jimmy, let us know. River Rivera says, "What's cooking, Jimmy?"
Schwarzbier.
Doing a Schwarzbier. Doing a Schwarzbier live. Are we able to, later on, are we going to be able to pull up the recipe on that?
I don't know about pull up, but
We could probably share it on Brew or on Discord.
Yeah.
Link or whatever, the Brew Father.
Share it on the Discord, okay.
Yeah.
I do have a computer window screen we can do. Rev says he can hear you. Nice.
Okay.
So we'll get them all hooked up pretty soon while we're getting people tuned in. What else happened at Genus this week? I did a lot of cleaning. Brewed version 2 of a fresh hopped beer. Fresh hopped beer was, our first version was struggling a little bit. But I brewed version 2, so that'll be up pretty soon. Ken Kid, Schwarz, Jung Yo, can't wait to see Brew Day in action. Thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate that.
There we go.
Black Lager, robots in disguise. But yeah, our first version of our fresh hopped IPA, silky pale IPA, ended up not going well, so we had to dump it. That was a hectic brew day. I was like half about to leave, and then Warren came in and brewed the other half, and so I think there was a lot of like just moving parts that we weren't really ready for, and so we went down, got some new Idaho 7 hops on Wednesday, and were able to brew with those.
I'm really jealous.
I had an extra 7 pounds. I ended up selling them to Bardic Brewing Company for a super discount. Yeah, boys, a favorite style of mine. Oh, I should put Schwarzbier in the title, actually. Live. How do you spell Schwarzbier? Someone spell Schwarzbier for me. SCHWARZBIER.
Yeah.
Live Schwarzbier Pro-Am Brew Day. Save. All right, now we got a new title. But yeah, version 2, I ended up pitching Lutra on that, and I did do a vlog-style video of my brew day there too. So you guys will get to see us make a fresh hop beer, which we don't do very often for reasons, but it is kind of fun every once in a while to do a little bit of a fan servicey style. Chat. Yeah, today, so what happened over... What's going on over there? You guys just got mashed in, right?
Yeah, he's setting up the recirculation.
So setting up recirc. That looks like a pretty... What was the total grain load on that? Looks like a pretty small mash bill.
It is... Sorry.
Something on the small side.
I'm fighting the...
No worries. Matt, you do your brewing. I'll try not to ask too many questions.
64 pounds.
64 pounds. And this is a 2-barrel?
One.
1 barrel. That makes more sense. I was like, wow. Not used to seeing
There
that
we
thing
go.
that empty. And recirculation's happening. I'm going to see if I can get a little bit of height on the camera. Every week we seem to try to step up our
Come on.
our setup just a little bit. As you can see my armpit in there.
There
So
we go.
this week's upgrade was making it more portable. I don't know. You see that at all? Is that helpful?
Okay. Good enough. Now it's time for me to. Oh, that's the other thing I need to do. Yeah,
Next
so
time
good
you
start
get
the brew
that.
day.
Oh, on the good old brew father.
Yep.
Cool view. Yeah, we're learning as we go, figuring out the what's possible with live streaming and being able to do portable multicam setups. What I got to do is during downtime, I got to get a third camera setup where we just play video games.
Mario Golf. All
Exactly.
Day, every day.
All day, every day. Mario Golf's the best. So I guess since we're doing a Schwarzbier, I might as well just go through the BJCP stuff on a Schwarzbier. Schwarzbier.
No, I'm overheating.
So for those of you looking for the education side, Schwarzbier post 2015 is category 8B. Overall impression is it is a dark German lager that balances roasted yet smooth malt flavors with moderate hop bitterness. Lighter body, dryness, and lack of harsh, burnt, or heavy aftertastes. So when I think of Schwarzbier, I basically think you want to be able to drink it like it's a light lager, but it's got dark flavors.
Yep.
Yeah.
That kind of how you guys think of it?
I was gonna say it's not as. It's not as heavy as a porter.
This one's just right there. That's where that camera is.
It's not as heavy as a porter. It's lighter than a brown.
Yeah. Well, and it's got that lager crispness because lagers. Not coffee, but rather burnt.
Yeah,
Ooh,
I
that
definitely say
makes a nice
roasty.
Oh, nice. I'll try that. Damon says we could be drinking a Schwarzbier also while making a Schwarzbier, and that's a pretty good point. If
I'm
only
on
there
it.
was someone who could get me a Schwarzbier.
I love how my boss is just like, hey, Damon, I had to buy more Pilsner malt.
I told him.
Okay.
By the way, if at any point in time either of the lav mics, so both Jimmy and Matt are going to be on labs. So if either of those go out, just let us know, and then probably just means I've got to change batteries. Anyways, Schwarzbier, yeah, not coffee. I wouldn't call it burnt too. We like to use roast malts that are relatively unobtrusive. I like to use roast malts like Carafa 2, Carafa 3. I don't know what you.
So I use chocolate rye and chocolate wheat.
Oh, okay, chocolate rye and chocolate wheat, so softer and obviously naturally dehusked because not barley.
Yep.
Sweet. Softer malts. What else are you using this? Is it fairly simple malt bill?
Yeah. Let's see. Just by percentage, it's 86% Pilsner, 6.3%
Rusty?
chocolate wheat, 3% acid malt, 3% Cara Munich 1, and 1.6% chocolate rye.
Nice. Yeah, so the Cara Munich just kind of builds some middle body on it and
Yeah.
touch of sweetness without being a flavor blast. Appearance on this, medium to very dark brown in color, often with a deep ruby garnet highlights, which that Cara Munich will definitely be a part of creating. Yet almost never truly black. So everything on the light side. Do you cold steep it all, or do you just go everything in the mash?
Just throw everything in the mash.
Okay. That's one of the nice things about using the debittered malts with the husklessness is that they get to, you don't have to worry as much about
Yeah.
bitterness and stuff from the tannins that come from husks. Aroma on this guy is low to moderate malt with low aromatic malty sweetness and or hints of roast malt. Hints of roast malt are often apparent. The malt can be clean and neutral or moderately rich and bready, and may have a hint of dark caramel. The roast character can be somewhat dark chocolate or coffee-like, but should never be burnt. It's got a low spicy or floral or herbal hop aromas. There's optional clean lager yeast character, although a slight sulfur is possible. So basically describing everything that you get with a light lager, but with some dark flavors. in my mind. Do you try to get some hop aroma on it, or do you just usually
Yeah, I did some late additions.
some late additions?
Yeah.
I think on mine I always pretty much just like I treat it like a Bud Light. I got a high
Just
alpha
bitter.
at the beginning, and then just let it be as neutral as possible. But I like it if you can get some good like sauciness. Are you going sauce or
I think it's Tetninger.
10?
Or no, tradition.
Yes, it's with a
Both.
Tetninger as a 5-minute.
Okay, yeah. So a nice little spiciness to it.
So, 14 ounces of hops total
Okay.
for
In a one barrel?
For a 1 barrel.
So scaled down to 5 gallon. That's whatever 14 divided by 6 is, like 2.5 ounces.
Yeah.
Nice. Mouthfeel on this is medium light body, medium light to medium body, moderate to moderately high carbonation, smooth, no harshness or astringency despite the use of dark roast malts. Again, hence the debittered malts that are used in this one. Again, very light lager-esque, but with the roastiness. Comment, literally means black beer in German. Schwarzbier.
Hence why black lager.
Yep.
While some people call it black pills, the beer is rarely as dark as black or as bitter as a pills. I don't expect strongly roasted porter-like flavors, which makes a lot of sense. History, a regional specialty from Thuringia, Saxony, and Franconia. No idea what those are.
And that's what, whenever I brew beers here, we try to match the water chemistry, since we do use RO water as close to the region that the beer originally came from.
So in this one, you're going pretty demineralized.
I think so. I don't.
It looked pretty low.
Yeah.
I like it. Characteristic ingredients: German Munich and/or Pils malt for the base, supplemented by a judicious use of roast malts. What does judicious mean in this sense? Does that mean like sparingly, or does that mean a lot?
I don't know.
I'd say a decent amount, but
Yeah.
Judicious. I feel like it's not a black beer. That seems like a weird word
it's
to
your
use.
own judgment.
Yeah,
about
use your
it.
own judgment. Yes. That's a weird word to use. Judicious amount of roasted malts, such as carafa types, for the dark color and subtle roast flavors. Huskless dark roasted malts can add roast flavors without the burnt flavors. Hence the chocolate rye and chocolate wheat. German hop varietals and clean German lager yeasts are traditional. So yeah, that's our thing.
Yeah. And then what we're drinking is No Drought's actual Schwarzbier.
Schwarzbier from No Giant. You got a better view of it over there, actually. Schwarzbier.
There we go.
Oh, that's clean. Look at that focus on it. The camera's like, bam. Thought of you guys the other day because I found a beer brewing simulator game on Steam. Oh, that'd be cool. We should
Well,
do it.
I guess I know what we're doing during some downtime.
Yeah, I was gonna say, should we do a speed run on it?
Speedrun brewing. The only time you would ever want to speedrun brewing beer.
Yeah, exactly. If it's a beer brewing simulator, that'd be a funny game to like that. That's the game we get big on and stream on Twitch or something like that. Moonlight Brewing makes a nice Schwarzbier. Where is Moonlight Brewing?
Down south, Tri-Cities, I want to say.
I would like to try it.
I think I follow them on social media.
All the breweries.
I follow so many breweries on social media.
Reverend K. White says he's having a Rainier as his dog licks his toes. Is that a Schwarzbier?
Rainier is just a American lager.
Yeah, but what about with the dog licking his toes? Does that make it a Schwarzbier?
Is it a black dog?
That would be. Yeah, that
Actually,
would be
no.
the thing.
Moonlight is in California. I think they came up for the. I think they partnered with Yaya for the Grainmaker.
Oh,
event.
cool.
So they use Link Malt. I'm pretty sure.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Death and Taxes Black Lager. The only things you can't avoid.
Yeah. So.
Super Smash Bros. Says, I'm a sucker for any beer black. I'm down for it. Adam Chumley Rev, it's okay because
Santa
it's
Rosa.
your dog.
Okay, cool.
Santa Rosa, nice. River, judicious. Having, using, or showing good judgment. Wise. The community deserves praise for its judicious use of water.
So not us.
Yeah. Damon says, gotta run, don't burn down the place. No promises, Damon.
Damon, I will not burn down the place. I cannot promise for Peter, but I will not burn down the place. the last time you were invited to anything Damon does.
Agree to disagree. Well, let's you got some downtime while we're circulating, right?
Yeah.
Let's jump into some questions. If you guys got questions on the, well, first let's introduce Jimmy. This is Jimmy, guys. He's the one that I'm pointing at that you can't really see my fingers at because I'm off to the side of him. But Jimmy, how many pro-ams have you won in the area?
As far as contests, 3.
3.
And then I did a pro-am with you guys as a
right.
raffle.
Yeah.
So 4 total.
So when you go into, well, you've done more brewing competitions than just pro-ams too, right? So you kind of enter a lot of them, or at least the local ones?
Mostly just local ones, which are usually pro-ams.
Yeah, the IBU guys.
Yeah.
So when you go into those, what's let's say, well, let's talk about the 3 that you won first. Like, what was the categories on the 3 that you won?
So the first one I won was with Iron Goat, and that one everybody had to use the same yeast, which was what actually turned me on to Kvike, was the whole start of all that. Yeah.
It was the predecessor to Loki.
No, Kviking. It was the blend.
Yeah, it was the Viking Den.
Yeah, it was the whole blend.
Was that sponsored by Imperial?
Yeah.
Yeah, they gave
Okay.
the yeast packets to all the brewers that wanted to enter.
Nice.
So I looked at the description of the yeast, and like, oh, citrusy. I'm like, everybody's going to do an IPA. And I was only 10 months into brewing. I was like, well, I know I'm not going to be able to compete with IPAs. And with that one, they actually had a competition. They had 3 different categories, so light, medium, and dark beer categories. So I was like, if you can go for a dark beer, hopefully I can at least win the category. So I ended up winning that category. There's only, I think, one other person that did a dark beer. Got 3rd place overall, and then the brewers at Iron Goat picked out of the top 5, and they picked my beer, which was
Nice.
a tropical stout.
I remember that beer actually. That was really good.
Yeah, that was. They need to rebrew it, or you need to rebrew it.
Unfortunately, they released it right as all the shutdowns
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah. So what was the second one that you won?
The second one that I brewed was the raffle with you guys, and
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
then,
That was the Dunkel, right? Or
No, the
Triple decoction.
the Dunkelweiss.
Dunkel Weiss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dark
Doppelweiss?
wheat, dark
Doppelweiss?
white beer. Dark wheat beer. Dark
Yeah.
Effie.
Yeah, something like yeah. It's been a
And
while.
then-
Pictures on social media somewhere.
And then this spring, I entered out at Inland Ale Works out in Cheney, which was an open category, brew any beer. And mine was just different enough, I guess, but good, and then I liked it. So I did a cream ale with jalapenos.
Yeah. I remember tasting that one too.
I
Was
still
it you
think
that
we
brought me
still-
that, or was it one of them that brought me that?
I dropped one off.
And
I think
there's still a
for
can
the-
of it in the fridge.
Is there?
Yeah,
My bad.
from the place.
from when you dropped it off.
Yeah.
We're working. Hey, I brought beer. I brought beer for us to taste. So
And
there's
Jimmy also
still-
brought some of his homebrew.
Nice. So we've got plenty to taste today.
And
Should
then
be good.
this one was any German style
New German style
for
and
this
Schwarzbier.
competition here.
And I was gonna say yours definitely, as someone who tried all of them, I felt like stood out.
Thank you.
And this is pretty me working here, so.
So when you go into a competition like this, what's your strategy when it comes to like how do you choose what style of beer you want to make?
I usually avoid IPAs just because everybody in the area is more advanced with those, since I'm still only 4 years into brewing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we don't drink as many of those at home, so I just use the stuff that I'm actually used to brewing. But it's usually a completely different recipe every time for a competition.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But I like to stand out, just be different than what I'm gonna assume everybody's gonna brew. And
Nice.
I figured with this one they're gonna do either a Hefty or a Pilsner, with all the German styles.
All the classic
So I
ones.
just kind of, went with a dark beer.
Makes sense.
Well, and it was very interesting because we actually ended up having one light beer, one medium, and one dark for the contest.
Yeah.
Here, so that was very interesting. And you're saying that my approach of sending the same beer every time for a contest should not work?
Got to change it up.
When you so how's it been when you do pro-ams, when you actually get to do the brewing part? How's it been scaling, like doing your homebrew size batch on the bigger systems and bigger scales? Has that been a challenge at all? Has it been fun, good learning experience?
It's a good learning experience. One thing I've kind of learned from a couple times is don't expect to have the same beer that you're gonna do as your homebrew 5-gallon batch come out the exact same when you scale up, because just the whole system's completely different.
Yeah.
And every time I've done the recipe. We've kind of changed it based on what they have on hand, which is probably to my fault, where I should be more strict with what I want, but I also don't know how it's going to turn out. So
Yeah.
I think this one we've stuck pretty close to.
yeah, this one we just swapped the Pilsner malt, which
Yeah.
all the other flavors
The same.
are the bigger thing.
Yeah, and then it's just because that's the Pilsner malt we use.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. Is this recipe up on
Discord yet?
Well, I was gonna say on anything that I could pull, because I can also pull it up on a window.
It's in Brewfather.
Let's see if I can go on to
Let me.
Brewfather and pull it up actually, so everyone can see.
Do you want the big batch or the current batch?
The current, the one that's being done right now.
Okay. How do I share?
Bottom right.
By the way, if you guys got, oh, by the way, Rib Riviera and River KY say, what up, Jimmy?
And PDF. That's how I.
People in
send
the chat, feel free to ask questions too while we're doing all the brew days. And let me know if the audio on this is good. We've got mics pretty close to people's faces, so hopefully the audio is okay.
Peter, I'm messaging it to you in Discord.
Okay.
Never mind. I am posting it in the.
Recipes.
Yeah.
Posting in the recipes on Discord.
Yep.
Genus Brewing server. Got it.
Just because that's the easiest way for me to get it.
So if you want to see the recipe and you're on our Discord, you'll know where to find it.
Yes. There's another way you can just do the link too, which is, I just forgot to do that one. But
And now I've got to find it. Sphere forms.
Make sure it actually posted.
Bring it. Ask you the recipes. There we go.
Oh, why didn't it load properly? Copying the link.
Today's beer being copied. My computer's bugging out.
I am good at technology. I swear.
Prove it. Okay, so if you guys want to see the recipe for today.
Well, while we're pulling up that Super Mash Bros, Jimmy, what do you think is the most underrated style?
I just think stuff that like the current day and time, anything that's not an IPA, it just gets pushed to the back end. So malt forward stuff in general that'd be my answer.
Englishy stuff.
Yeah, English or again like multi lagers and stuff. There's so many different versions of lagers that you don't see
Yeah,
unless it's on Peter's shirt.
it's true. I've got all the loggers right there. Ugh.
I was gonna say I've gotten to the point in time where like some of the darker and mid-range lagers, because you see all the time pilsners and kolsch's at breweries now, but it's like sometimes I do want just a good Schwarzbier,
Yeah.
especially in the winter.
Yeah, Schwarz is like not for me. It's the stout drinker's summer beer.
Yeah.
You know, it's not super heavy or roasty.
Let me know if that's visible to anybody. As
Yes,
I'm,
it is visible.
Alright.
And then Chumley, I got rid of my old carboys and such, making a strawberry and raspberry blonde split batch. Once you add to the primary vessel, it finished out with yeast still there. Bad idea. I don't think it's a bad idea.
Strawberry and raspberry blonde split batch. Want to add to a primary vessel. It's finished out with yeast still in there. Bad idea. No, the thing you're going to run into using everything in a primary vessel is going to be.
Now you're showing the.
You guys are showing the chat, the stream chat. The thing that you're going to run into there is going to be kind of a time issue, where you want to make sure that you get that beer in the final package.
The temperature.
If you get that beer in the final package
because like
fast enough that there's not time for oxygen ingress and the potential for contamination, because usually primary vessels aren't fully closed systems, and so if you're adding fruit to secondary. If you're adding your raspberry puree or whatever you're adding to your primary vessel, it's going to have another layer of fermentation that obviously pushes out a bunch of stuff. So opening up your vessel is not going to really matter that much. But then once you see that start to die out, just don't leave it in there too long. Get it into a keg and get it crashed. You'll end up with more sedimentation in your keg, but that's totally fine. You can either do a keg-to-keg transfer, or you can, just not move your keg around too much, and then once it starts to create that divot in the sediment layer, then you're pouring clear beer out of the way. Is my answer. For those of you who want to see the dark lager, there it is. I really need to find a way to build up to put the chat window in in OBS so that I can see that part better.
There's ways.
There's ways. I know there's ways. I just don't know how to do it. It's got PIP live window.
Super Smash Bros. One of the weirdest things that I've done recently was the forbidden rice for an adjunct, where I cooked the rice for about 40 minutes and then added it to the mash.
Forbidden rice?
Yeah, that was that lager that you guys drink the last couple weeks.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. Was that, and so that one was the one that came in as raw rice, right?
Yeah.
So then you had to do the full cook as like a pre-gelatinization to get all the sugars accessible before actually adding it into beer.
Yeah, so I cooked it, and then there's a certain enzyme that says you can skip. It's from Novozymes, but I still cooked the rice just to be safe.
Yeah, I think that makes sense.
And then I just added that also.
Did you add the moist rice, or did you dry them back out after you cooked them?
Moist. I just did it that morning and then threw it into my mash.
The mash.
It was weird because it gave like a whole blackberry juice look on the whole. It was so purple.
Oh, really?
And then once I boiled, it just kind of disappeared.
Yeah, I think that happened to us when we did that for one of our Will It Beer series. Actually, we added a rice that was supposed to have some color and honestly a lot more flavor than it did.
Yeah.
But it ended up kind of all going away or getting put out.
Rice lager has been suggested several times for one of the states when we do the state beers.
Ordinarily, Adam says on his bucket thing, ordinarily I'd rack to secondary, but all I have left are buckets, and they suck for oxidation. Yeah, you gotta get those into just a little keg. What's a favorite hop you like using for an imperial stout? For me, I like using Chinook. So if I'm doing like a Russian imperial stout, Chinook it has that aggression that just stands up to the sweetness, and then I don't feel bad about finishing at like 1.022, because then I've got something that's aggressive to kind of cut through it. What about you guys? Favorite hop for an imperial stout?
I love my German hops. Like even before I started working here, I've always loved Hallertau.
Just gotta use a lot of them.
I guess it depends on what other flavors you're going for in the imperial stout.
Yeah.
Did you just say Russian imperial stout or
just imperial stout?
Yeah, like because if you're going, like honestly, like because most of the time when I'm doing imperial stouts, I'm doing coffee and stouts.
Yeah.
So I just want the bitterness. I'm not like looking for the flavor.
Yeah.
As much from the hops because I'm getting the flavor from the coffee and I want that bitterness to help pair with the coffee.
Yeah. And I've got about 20 different types of hops in my freezer, so just whatever
pops
whatever
out.
suits me for the day.
That's kind of what I end up doing. whatever I need to get rid of. Super Mash Bros says he's a sucker for Cascade and Imperials, which I can see that for sure. You got a little bit of a bright citrusy floral quality pushing through. Diamond Roads. Anyone still using a foundry? I have not used a foundry in a while. Not because they're not good, but because they stopped selling to retailers, so they only sell direct now. And so now I can't get them.
Yeah.
But
I
used mine for a while. Now I just pretty much use the mash and boil.
Yeah, and I know Hayden's pretty much on anvils only.
Yeah, that's the foundry.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's.
Yeah.
We might have a foundry in the back.
Nice.
I'm
Yeah.
not 100% sure.
I like them. I like them because they can go 220, so you can switch
Yeah.
between 110 and 220.
Ooh, lemon drop in a porter.
Sounds pretty dope.
That actually sounds really nice.
Adam Shelby says best homebrew vessel aside from using semi-pro conicals. Best homebrew fermenting vessels other than using semi-pro. Honestly, for me, it's usually just like a bucket and then go into corny kegs really, really quick. And then like before it's done fermenting quick, and then just use keg to keg transfers. But in terms of the mid-range ones, I don't know. I think like the all-rounders and all those like PET ones with the floating dip tubes, I think those all work pretty well.
Yeah. I used to have buckets for myself, and then I actually looked out and got a couple 10-gallon corny kegs for $60 a piece.
Oh, nice.
So I have a floating dip tube in that, and that's my pressure fermentation.
Yeah. I think as long as you can get something, that you can, that's stainless, that works for that. I think that works out really well. The nice thing about those like all-rounders and the new, those new PET pressure vessels, that you can use them as a keg too.
Yeah.
With the adaptive lids. But I just don't like that they're clear and they're still damageable. So you can dent them very easily. Adam uses the all-rounder.
What's nice about some of those versions too is they have where you can do the dump and get the yeast off.
Yeah.
And some of them they do just have like the all-rounder, and then there's one that's the cone. It just has a snub nose without a drop.
Right.
Where it just collects.
Yeah.
But it's still pressure, and you can.
Yeah, and if you got the floating dip tube, it's all going to stratify anyway, so it's all going to separate. So it still ends up working out pretty well.
Yeah.
Firmzilla, Firmzilla. That's the other one that I was trying to think of. Firmzilla. When you first started your brewery, how big was your brew system? 5 gallons. My brewery was started very differently than most breweries, though.
His brewery was started in the back of his homebrew shop.
Yes.
Here, Damon did just jump straight into a 1-barrel system. So we have 2 1-barrel fermenters and 2 2-barrel fermenters.
Yeah, so still pretty small, relative.
Yeah, just means very long days when I want to fill the 2 barrels.
Yeah. Adam says the large Firmzilla with cone is really difficult to seal properly. Had 2 different ones and then gave up. All-rounder was the way to go. That's not too dissimilar from my experiences. The ones that do the cones on them usually have some weird stand system, and doing the whole system of shrub dumping and everything like that. It's nice that you can do it, but also it's a lot of work. I kind of like the all-rounder idea of just like putting everything in one vessel and then letting it all crash out.
Yeah. That's where like the snub nose, again, you saw it out of a stand, but it's all one solid piece, so you can't dump it. But it kind of has that taper, so it does kind of cone out a little bit.
Yeah.
But you still have the stand and everything. And if you're using I have an old fridge that I use as my fermentation vessel, so height is an issue as well for me.
Yeah, that makes sense. You have the space consideration.
Yeah.
Daniel, Diamond Roads, honestly haven't. Couldn't tell you why. Still, efficiency. Feel like I'm missing out on a conversation. John P, is there a link to the Discord?
Yeah. Yep, I can.
Daniel says, "Aw dang, Peter's shoutcasting the brew day. Do we get a play-by-play?" Yeah, nothing super exciting is happening right now. We're just recirculating, so I will shoutcast the brew day.
Invite. Copy link.
Adam Shelby, you always need 2 people to hold the internal seal while the other tightens the bottom from the outside. And it was just longer than a 5'8" person's arm to do both at the same time. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Was it the fast ferment that was the white one or whatever? That
Yeah,
just had that tiniest little.
Discord link has been posted.
That old school one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was down for the fast ferment the first couple times I used it, and then like it started to like break down and like the seals break down, the screw guy, and then I started realizing there's a lot of spots that I think that like bacteria and stuff could hide in, and I was like, I don't like using it.
A lot of the threads, and then.
John Hakio, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate it.
Hype. Oh, and what you guys saw me doing in the back, running around like the crazy person I am, was just topping off the Sparge water.
Making sure that there's good hot water for Sparge.
Yeah, because our hot liquor tank holds about 45 gallons worth of water, and majority of that goes into
the mash.
So then I have to top it off and then start heating it up with fresh RO water.
Super Mash Bros. Pliny or Racer 5? It's still Pliny for me.
Yeah, I agree. Even though Racer is actually a really nice beer too.
Adam Chumley, the best advice is to sell a kidney on the black market, not even the black market. It's the worst one. And buy the Spike CF15 conical and call it a day. Yeah, it's not. I'm not gonna say it's the best advice, but it's up there.
It's up there.
Keg uses a 10.1 torpedo keg to ferment. It's really wide and has corny connections to pressure, ferment, and transfer. Yeah, corny kegs work really well for a lot of people. Even if you go from a 5-gallon brew day down to a 4-gallon brew day, or if you've got a 6-gallon keg instead of a 5-gallon keg, so you got at least a little bit of space. I think buckets are still fine, but so one of my first upgrades at the old shop was I bought this 26-gallon milk tank, which is like a big open fermenter kind of system. And knowing that it was an open ferment and knowing where I was fermenting it and the risks that are involved with contamination and everything like that, my whole strategy around that was just I'm going to start transferring as soon as I see the Krausen drop. I'm transferring into kegs, and then I'll condition in the kegs and everything like that. And I made a lot of really good beer just doing that.
That's a really smart idea.
That was before spunding was popular. That's basically what I was doing, just getting it into the final vessel early on and eliminating risk and getting good, fresh carbonated beer.
Which is the one thing I need to learn really how to do is how to properly spund.
Yeah.
Because we have spunding valves on all the tanks.
Yeah. It's something to play around with.
Yeah, it's something I'm going to probably borrow you one day to teach me.
It saves a lot on CO2, that's for sure.
The
All
other thing
right.
to look at is like if you finally use 15-gallon kegs too, and if you go to I think it's Williams Brewing, they have the little replacement so you can take out the spear, and then it's a corny setup, so it's a ball lock right on the top
With a little tube on it.
with floating ball valve or floating dip tube built in.
That's not a bad way to go, actually.
Yeah. Especially when you get kegs that won't seal or whatever anymore. So
Yeah. I'm kind of, well, I know everything's like super, super normalized, and so there's, millions of people that are using D-System, like Sankey kegs, but I'm kind of wondering why there hasn't been some sort of big push away from the standard Sankey kegs, because they're not very efficient. I think right now we just kind of keep using them because everyone's already used them, and there's a lot of like fittings that are catered to the D-System Sankey.
yeah. This one has basically just the thing just sits right on top, big old gasket, and then one of these clamps.
Yeah.
And just tighten right up.
Yeah, that's not a bad way to
I think
go.
it's like $50, so for $100 you can have a pressure fermenter or whatever.
I'm sure there's a good compromise between the corny system and because my only problem with the corny system is because you got small parts, and so if hot particles gets in there, you can like block your spring on the post, or you can, get one of the poppets stuck or gross or hard to clean out.
Yeah.
There's got to be a good system. I think Key Keg actually had a decent system with the first, when they started their whole bag in a box kind of push system. I'm surprised there hasn't been more people popularizing some way to do that.
Yeah.
Although I did see, I think Kegland did something similar, but also on a D system, but where it's bag in a box style. So the whole interior is replaceable, which that'd be fun to both brew in and drink beer out of.
Yeah. And then floating dip tubes have their own problems too. I know a lot of people have to add some weight right below the ball, because sometimes, especially when I'm filling up a growler, when I have my floating dip tube keg in, it just gets stuck to the edge. All of a sudden you just get a load of gas that comes through.
Yeah,
So some people have to just weigh down that ball a little bit more.
that makes sense. Spunding valves on all the tanks. Okay, money bags. Throw out some more questions.
Since we have about 30 minutes still.
Yeah.
So
Either that
one's
or-
the fresh hop, and then that one's those are the experimental yeast.
As we're getting more
from the
beer, if you
country
guys
of
want to
Georgia.
take another look at the recipe we're brewing right now, it's
Which
that
one?
dark lager right there.
Either one, they're both pretty. The light one's pretty light.
So for the batch, we got 55 pounds total of Pilsen, 4 pounds of chocolate wheat, 2 pounds of acidulated malt, 2 pounds of Caramunic 1 pound of chocolate rye. You can see all the percentages right there, and the hop additions. I make myself a little smaller.
And I don't know if that one includes the water chemistry as well.
Yeah, there's a water
It
profile.
should,
on
yeah.
it. You can see it looks
The
like
water
it's,
additions and stuff, or at least the total.
yeah, pretty neutral. It's going to be a slight malt push because of the sodium levels. Chloride and sulfate are both kind of in mid-range. Chloride a little bit higher than sulfates, so slightly malt leaning, but nothing crazy. It's not going to be like a super heavy malt water profile.
Have to make sure I keep my keys out of my pocket on brew days
Looks
because
like
I
we're
will
looking
catch
at.
it. I've already caught it like tanking.
Not used to reading in this format. Looking at 23 SRM, but that's going to come from strict black malts mostly. Just a little bit of Caramunic is that partial amber hue, but it's going to turn from not being more brown. It's going to be more like off black. Is going to be the color with using mostly roasted malts for the coloration. And is ABV on here somewhere?
Predicted ABV is
5.1 on the very top.
5. Oh, there it is. Yeah. Not used to using this style. PI Pizza Live.
and then we
window.
we do use global, which I'm going to double check, make sure I actually have global. Or else I'm
Either that, I'm gonna have to run back to the brewery. Should figure out a way to like do cool
yeah, we got plenty of global.
picture in pictures. Add something in that upper corner over there.
There was hey Peter.
Yeah.
Since I know you never brew the same thing twice. Diamond Roads would like to know what's your favorite beer to brew on your tap list.
My favorite beer to brew that's on our tap list.
Yeah,
Like if I had to brew the same beer twice.
yeah, or which
I don't know. Count Chocula's about to be on there. I like brewing Count Chocula. I like brewing weird stuff. So
really the man that decided he wanted to try to do seafood for every single state.
yeah, state seafood beer.
To answer your question, since I'm still getting, actually the Pilsner was probably my favorite beer that I've brewed so far. For No Drought here. I liked it because it was a nice simple beer that I could really try to focus in on making sure I'm doing it correctly.
Mm-hmm.
And it still has enough hops to actually be more of a German Pils than an American Pils.
Yeah.
So that currently, now the beers I'm excited about is I am excited to brew the Baltic Porter.
That'll
That's
be
probably
fun.
the one I am the most excited to get my hands on and make here.
I do like brewing beers that have like big, like long boil times and big malts that are from a long boil.
Yeah, that's going to be a day that I don't know, like if that's going to be a Sunday I brew or if I'm going to find someone else to cover so I can just sit here and
Yeah.
make sure the building doesn't burn down.
Shmeh, just go for it. Jangakyo, yes, like a barley wine. I love brewing those kind of things. Like if I can do a 4 hour or more boil and get all that nice caramelization, really condense down the wort.
When I did the Imperial Saison with you guys, that was a really fun. And that was a triple batch day. Like, that was a lot of boiling. I think I got there at like 7. I think I left there at like 7.
That's kind of how that triple decoction day went for me.
Witch or a Baltic Porter. Nice.
Did it?
And I did get a lot of just because I mentioned state beers. On one of my drinking adventures, I did decide I was posting on Reddit on the Homebrew page to see if people could suggest stuff for the different states. So I have quite a list of ideas,
Nice.
including some really, really weird ones I don't think we'll actually be able to do.
Nah, we'll go for it.
Well, one is illegal for us to do.
Nah, we'll go for it.
Someone suggested Florida methamphetamine.
Yeah, we'll go for it.
Okay.
Just make it blue.
But I
Make sure you
will
got the blue
comment that there was one of our viewers, I don't know who it was because I didn't recognize the username, that says, I love Genus.
Nice.
Because of course I called out the fact that I was doing it for the Genus live stream.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So, but yeah, we'll dive into the birthday cake pastry stout later. Probably build the recipe and then you and Jimmy can brew that when I'm gone. next
Sounds
week.
good.
Build the
There's one
recipe
week
next
that I'm doing something some Sunday. What Sunday is that? The 15th.
You mean the 16th?
The 16th?
Yeah.
Yeah, that Sunday.
So then no live stream the 16th.
Yeah, unless you want to do it from the Wild Moose Chase race.
So you only have
2 days.
Yeah.
2 days in the woods. Cool.
Yeah. So I'm going on vacation. My actual first real vacation that I'm not working. For like week-long vacation. I'm leaving the 14th and not coming back till like the 23rd. So Jimmy's going to cover now one of the days for me.
Nice.
Because me and him are friends, obviously, and I trust his opinions on stuff.
Diamond Roads, probably my favorite beer to brew on a larger scale was a pilot brew with the brewery I work at that was a pepper stout we put on nitro as a collab with Hot Ones.
What? You guys collabed with Hot Ones?
I want it.
Yeah.
Put it inside of me. All up inside of me. Do it or else.
And right now, we actually have for the Valley Cup, the pepper beer at Yaya.
That one's pretty good. I think that one's gonna win this round.
I was talking to Jason last night. Jason's the owner of Yaya, just for those of you who don't remember that live stream, because that was a long time ago. But me and him were talking, and it sounds like it's actually going to come down to no droughts or Yayas, is what he's saying from what he's been hearing from people.
Oh, nice.
So, except I do think that a natural 20 is going to have a strong push.
A strong push.
Because they're graph that tastes like straight cider to me.
Yeah. Well, do they have the voting thing at both their tap rooms too, or is it just the Valley tap room?
I think just the Valley. Well, because you have to get stamped at all the breweries to keep for your vote to count.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
They could be starting people down there and sending them over there. They
Yeah.
might have double the exposure.
Nothing wrong, but then it comes down to really which beer do you like the best.
Yeah. Adam Tremblay says, Baltic Porter, amazing style. Going to do one next year now that I've got a 30-gallon kettle and can do a long boil without losing a bunch of wort. Always so stingy on that. I totally get you.
No, I was going to say that's a one-barrel batch for me.
Yeah, if one of the things that I've done before is reiterated mash to try to get a really, really big boozy beer. And so I ended up actually making 3 beers on basically one brew day. So I had my first runnings that went into my mash for second running. So I had my second runnings on that, and then I had my big beer, and then I had the party golf from the big beer into another beer. So the second runnings on that were like normal beer strength.
And for all of you, Baltic Porter is a lager.
Yeah, it is.
I was going to say, many people get confused because it
Is
has
that
the
the
word
word?
porter.
It's right there.
Kind of like tropical stout, technically.
Yeah, Tropical Stout's also a lager.
Yeah.
Tropical Stout, the original cold IPA.
Yeah.
Adam Dunn, when was the last time you brewed with a hop for the first time? Any takeaways from the resulting beer?
Well, no,
A week
actually,
ago?
last Sunday, you should watch the live stream
Yeah.
because that was a mystery hop.
Well, yeah, and the first fresh hop beer that we ended up having to dump, unfortunately, was that was HBC something.
Why'd you guys have to dump it?
The brew day was split between 2 brewers, and that left for some difficulties, and so it ended up getting infected.
Jeez, Warren.
I know. You can't blame Warren. It was, the timing didn't work out the way we wanted it to.
Yeah.
Like, the hops didn't get there until after I had already left. And so I couldn't really,
Do what you wanted to do.
Yeah.
No, I know. I'm just saying Jeez, Warren because
We made a
Warren.
good effort. That's all that matters. We made a good effort at it.
Given the fact that Warren's become one of my favorite drinking buddies now.
He is a drinking buddy.
By the way, the beer that we kind of just started drinking and Peter polished off real quick, that was the Fresh Hop?
Yep. That was my homegrown. It's Willamette, Northern Brewer, Nugget, and Medusa.
Oh, interesting.
I was going to say,
I
it's
didn't
know
have
Medusa.
I didn't have enough hops to do multiple, so I just threw it all together.
Nice.
I was going to
Yeah,
say,
it's
I
good.
like it. It's actually
It's
a
got
really
that.
nice blend.
It's got that subtle greenness of like a fresh hop style greenness. It's got a little bit of like toasted biscuit kind of note too. So it's not strictly like just a normal IPA or anything like that.
So I did 10 pounds of base malt, 3 pounds of Vienna, a little bit of DRC, and
Okay.
I had like 4 ounces of Carrot Red left over. So it's kind of a kitchen sink IPA,
Yeah, it works.
and then yeah.
By the way, real quick, Frazzled, we miss you too.
And then
Frazzled
also,
Penguin just made a.
Yeah. Hey, Sundays have been bad for me, so I've missed a lot. Yeah, especially like that whole like August period. You definitely and like late July. Yeah,
all
you
of July
definitely
and August.
you missed a lot of really good episodes during
Jimmy
that time.
will tell you, we were killing those episodes, right?
Yeah, just a lot of really good ones. Glad to see you back on. Rick Morty, biotransformation, SAS, CTZ, and Idaho 7 in a hop stand. Wow. Huh.
I also used Halversgaard Kvike on this, but I only did like 75 degrees.
Oh, gotcha. So trying to keep it more neutral.
Yeah. Well, no, I did just when I did a starter for it in room temperature. It was super fruity, just that even at
Oh, really?
like 65, 70 degrees. So I figured I didn't need to push it. So
I haven't done that one. I don't think I've
it's
used
not
that
a
one at all.
commercial one.
That's why I haven't used it.
Which one?
Halversgaard.
Oh, okay.
I wonder if pressure fermentation would make a smoother whiskey. Interestingly enough, so whiskey, the smoothness usually comes from distillation and oaking and how they're blended and all that. But interestingly enough, when you want a really sweet whiskey or a whiskey that has that natural sweetness in body from the initial distillate, esters are actually really important in that because esters volatilize, even lower temperature than alcohol does. And so a lot of those esters will start coming out and give some perceived flavor in the final distillate. It won't taste like bananas like in a beer, but they actually do add to some of the sweetness and body of
I
whiskey.
was gonna say we should see if we can get either Warrior or Dry Fly onto one of the live streams.
I sell home stills, so we should bring one of those to either Warrior or Dry Fly and then just distill something at their facility where it's legal and start doing an entire distillation series.
Do you know if the esters and stuff react with the wood more? Is that where they get some of that stuff too, or is it just the flavor compound itself?
I wouldn't be surprised. I know that the way that vanillins come out from oak is it's chemically more complex than I've taken the time to learn to understand. But I wouldn't be surprised if the esters and I know phenols specifically do react with the wood, but I wouldn't know how esters are.
Yeah. And I know the proof going into the barrel can create either a harsh, more bitter, or more sweet, more vanilla too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, theoretically, I guess that esters could break down into an alcohol and an acid, and then the acid could definitely be something that would react with barrel compounds. But again, more chemically complex than I've taken the time to learn. Sound issue. Which one? It's not on mine. Maybe it's on Jimmy's. Are you off? Did you? That light's on. That light's on. Yeah. Let us know if the sound issue's still there. Is it me? Sound issue, correct?
With backwards, forwards, or no baseball cap?
He should know. He should know us. Oh, it's not me?
Okay, is it?
If you guys talk, I should be able to see it.
Is it me with the backwards baseball cap?
Yours is a little low.
Oh.
But you and Jimmy should be on the same gain, though.
Yeah. Both of us. Both of us is what he's saying.
That's it. Never mind, I found it out. Figured it out.
Was the battery dying?
On the receiver, not on you guys' end. Stand by. Being corrected. By the way, if you want us to have endless supply of batteries, these are on our Amazon wish list. If anyone wants to.
Which I haven't posted a link in a very long time because I'm not longer at the computer.
It's below the.
In the description.
Yeah, it's in the description. Sound issue is being fixed currently. Thank you for pointing that out.
Sounds good. Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, we have this glass over there.
Can you hear us now?
Boom, sound should be back on. Matt, say something.
Here's the wort.
Perfect.
Look like.
Stand by. Perfect. Look how pretty that is.
Nice dark color. Oh god, that smells amazing. Someone needs to invent smell-o-vision.
Needs to happen.
Yeah, I was gonna say, John, whiskey is a very interesting beast, and out of the hard alcohols that I barely drink, I do probably drink more whiskey than anything else.
Yeah, with messing with water chemistry using for proving whiskey, that'd be interesting. Because I mean, it's all distilled, and so technically, the more mineralic it is, the worse it is for the still. So I'm sure a lot of people err towards the side of neutral water if they're making whiskey. But in terms of how it comes out, it's hard to say.
I know that my mom's favorite vodka, they actually run through like volcanic rocks to help distill it because it comes from Hawaii.
After last vids and all of the apologies, are you guys still accepting our homebrews? Yes, we are still accepting homebrews.
Oh, absolutely accepting. We're just trying to get through
We just
that
gotta,
part
yeah.
first. And if you do send homebrews, please make sure you put a date so that way I don't lose it in the shuffle of other beers.
Date and all the labelies. Yeah, absolutely still accepting homebrews. It's just we're probably about halfway through our fridge right now.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and that's not. Well, no, it's halfway, including all my random weird beers that are in the back there. That including some mystery.
I think if we work really hard, we can probably get through them in the next couple weeks.
Yeah, well, and we still have to schedule. Me and Peter have to figure out video time to sit down and try to do a Adam Chumley video.
Yeah, that might be a Genus not brewing video where we do like a beer tasting or a beer share kind of thing. Maybe that'll be the introduction to the beer share idea that I had. I think it'd be awesome to do a live streamed beer share or something like that where we just like ultimately where we talk about like fun beers that we're able to find on our own.
Well, and I was going to say, and I also have connections to two of the guys that do a ton of beer trades in Spokane.
Nice.
Whistle Pump Chris.
Yeah.
You know, and then Darren actually up at Humble Boat does a bunch as well.
Oh, adding water to change the proof, to proof it down. Yeah, that makes sense. John's still talking about the whiskey thing. If you added like really, really rocky hard water, that'd be really fun.
Oh, real quickly going back to Diamond Roads. If you send beer to Genus, mark it Matthew. Or Matt.
Or M. Or MW.
Yeah. Or Bear Puncher. We'll accept Bear Puncher too.
Yep.
As long as it's notated for more for me, that tells it's for the live stream, and not just so Peter can enjoy.
That's right.
Even though he'll still probably just enjoy.
I definitely will.
So yeah.
So this
Very
is
neutral nose. Like there's not a ton of nose on this.
this is a bootleg beta yeast from a natural wine from the country of Georgia where they isolated one of the strains. It's supposed to have like white wine esters and stuff. So
Yeah.
I matched it up with Hallertau Blanc and added some French Elixir hops. So yeah, really chill.
This is actually really nice, and I do get that white wine kind of grapey almost notes to it.
Yeah. It's a lot like the Simonitis pipe.
Also, actually, I could see doing a grapple with this, doing a white wine grapple,
Yeah.
which is still on my bucket list of beers to brew. Probably not here because that's a very Italian beer.
Great deal.
Adam Chinley says do a March Madness bracket.
March Madness bracket? I'm down.
Yeah, but collect 32 beers, no matter the style, and do a video. Shouldn't be hard to get all hard homebrew anyway.
How do you have 32 of Chumley's beers? You guys do.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Also, we're quiet again according to Frazzled.
Oh. Those batteries just really suck? The ones that we just put on? Nope. Now you should be less quiet.
Okay.
I don't know if I just put on old batteries though. There's a possibility those are, let me see.
Sorry, Frazzled, but yeah, I actually like the idea of doing a March Madness little homebrew video.
If that goes out again, let me know.
Yeah. Okay. He says better. Cool.
For now, I'll try to keep an eye on it too.
Yeah. Also, I can keep an eye, but I probably started heating up the Sparge water too late. Oh, random hot pellets in my jeans. It's okay because I do gravity feed for a little bit. I don't start sparging until I'm several gallons in.
What other questions you guys got for us?
Rick Morty, I'm in a hotel and I have a brew in a bag system. Can you give me a recipe for a good IPA on biotransfer, pressure ferment in a Pessy keg, pill sitch? I'm looking for Saws Idaho 7 to make work, but honestly, with most IPAs, it's mostly just a good base malt. Like, you don't need a ton of extra. Like, I'm just gonna throw out Pilsner, a touch of Munich to get some of the little bit more caramely notes, and then especially since you
or if you want to, you can go
sauce.
straight Pilsner too if you want.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to go that lighter.
Yeah, but since you threw Saws in there, as like the German hop, German malts.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, Peter.
Yep.
It's flashing red.
That must mean those batteries sucked.
Do you need to take the battery from mine?
No, I'm good. Yeah, on the if you're going for biotransformation, the bigger thing that I'd focus on is yeast first.
Yeah.
Make sure that the yeast is really good. And I'll throw like 2/3 into of your hops into the whirlpool, and then I would save a little bit for earlier on and a little bit for dry hop at high krausen. And then your whirlpool should be a low enough temperature to retain some of the oils that can actually be manipulated. 4 minutes until what, Matt?
Till we're done mash.
Frazzle Penguin for a quick turner call.
Lutra.
We're off.
Lutra.
We're off.
Yeah, but Lutra. Frazzle, your answer is Lutra. Anything with Lutra. Right?
Now your sound's on. All right, what was that? Quick turnaround?
Quick turnaround 2-week beer. I think Heffies are a good one if you like Heffies because they can be pretty quick. You don't have to worry about clarification on those.
Jung Akio for batteries. Thank you so much. That will help. I appreciate it.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah,
Also,
quick turnaround.
am I following him on? I think I'm following him on Instagram now.
You might be.
Yeah, he posts really, really pretty pictures.
Oh, nice. Yeah, so for some, I don't know what you're saying for quick turnaround beer, but Lutra is definitely a yeast that I use. I call that my cheater yeast. I used it on the most recent fresh hop that we did just because I knew it was going to rip, and it's super cheap if you're brewing big batches. So I can spend like, $12 on yeast and still have a 2-barrel batch from it like crazy. I enjoy Lutra.
He says you are following him.
What?
He says you're following him.
Oh, awesome.
Yep.
Your pictures are so pretty. Sorry, I don't like them. I just scroll and I say and admire them.
Yeah, I'd say any bike in general works because you can get it done in 2 or 3 days. But
Yeah. Lutra. Lutra's your friend.
if you don't want any yeast character, at least.
Yeah. I was going to say, a Lutra Pils is actually really nice fun.
When is it worth upgrading from a plastic fermenter to something more pro? If you're going to be brewing a lot and you want to make sure that everything stays clean permanently, even if it's still 5 gallons, I think it's worth upgrading. Kind of just depends on your budget. If I had to start homebrewing all over again, I would probably do everything as expensive as I possibly could.
Because my homebrew system, Jimmy's seen it, it's a very jank system.
I've never seen it.
I was going to say you've seen pictures.
Yeah.
My Gatorade cooler, brew in a bag.
That's what I got.
Yeah. I would definitely upgrade myself to like a mash and boil and some the stainless steel fermenters that I may or may not currently have one of Genus's.
Probably. Rick Morty commented USO5 and 82C hop stands to as a backup for his other thing. which I believe
Oh,
is
that's the
great.
beer you're drinking. Okay, cool, Rick. He's from Poland.
Oh, nice. You beat me to batteries, so Jimmy and Weiser, mandatory beer chug, winner gets a pint.
I already win that. I don't have anything. I'm all out.
Well, I was gonna say, no, I was gonna say that's gonna be whatever the next beer is. It's gonna be our mandatory beer chugs,
I'm down.
which we'll have to wait because I'm gonna actually be working here in a moment.
Cheers!
Because there's gonna be some alarms going off.
Beep, 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 beep. Yeah, we're going to be seeing some action happen pretty soon here. KO Brewing, I saw Omega release a new yeast. It's supposed to be really good for biotransformation. They did. We ordered a bunch of it, and then Four-Eyed Guys stole it from us. And they paid us money to steal it from us, but still. Damn you, Alex.
Which one's supposed to be for the bio? Or is it
It's one of the new Finalized strains.
the Helio?
It was either Helio or the other one, like the Sunburst or whatever
For
it's
Star
called.
Party, that's like the US-05
That could be it.
stylized one.
That could be it.
And then there's,
Yeah, right.
Glazers, is that one?
there's Helio Gazer.
Gazer, yeah. I think
With
that's
the-
the one that.
That's the one that's like
Alex stole.
super stylized of Cosmic Punch, and then there's the one that's the lager.
You
Is
either
that-
stole the lager one or the Helio Gazer one. I don't remember. I wasn't there. I just heard the
I
story.
think it'd be interesting to do like a Czech lager with the lager one.
With the lager one?
With saws and do a mash hop.
Someone comment with the lager thiolized yeast from what's their place is called?
Omega.
Seven Stoudemire, Knoxville Money Incorporated. I am actually, so no joke, I am planning the Knoxville trip around January 14th, I believe. So it's happening. And I appreciate the funds.
I was, as I say, I will not be going, most likely. But
I'm going to try to plan it with around the, I told you about the 50K, right?
what?
There's a 50K race.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I told you about that.
Rick Morty's asking what your thought is on Cosmic Punch because it's not available in Poland.
I have used it a handful of times. I don't think I've put a lot of effort into using it the way it's supposed to be used, so I've kind of been underwhelmed every time I've used it.
I've used it once and thought it's fine, but nothing special.
That's kind of what I got.
I
out of
had
it.
the Single Hill because Single Hill did they did the same batch of beer, but then they split into three and they did the three major Omega yeasts.
Yeah.
And so I had the Cosmic Punch one and it was good.
Yeah, I got to try it. If I'm going to really get the best out of what they can do, I really probably got to try it like with dip hopping or with mash hopping or something like that.
Yeah. So my concern as far as a brewery is if you're sending the spent grains out to a farm,
Yeah,
if
you
you have
can't-
hops mixed in, there's certain animals it's toxic to, and
Yeah.
like I wouldn't
Most
want to deal with
animals?
that hassle. Yeah, you know.
Yeah, especially on the big scale when you've got like, barrels and barrels of grain you're trying to give to animals.
Yeah,
I'd rather be able to give it to animals, so it's, yeah.
so it's not wasted.
Seven Sotomayor, for someone just returning from a wheat beer fest, what are we brewing?
Dunkelweizen, or not Schwarzbier,
Schwarzbier.
the other dark one.
Yeah, and we went over all the black lageriness. Also, I think it's in the title. Yeah, it's in the title. You silly goose. But recipe, Stefan, if you want to see the recipe.
It's in the Discord. He's in the Discord already.
Oh, cool. Recipe's in the Discord. I could also show the recipe again, but only if 3 more people say they want it.
One thing that's interesting with those stylized ones, just from doing the research, looking on Omega's site though, is that when you use like the local malts, the more characterful, there's actually bound thiols with that too.
Yeah.
So just using more local malts.
That'd be the experiment. Try we have the purple Egyptian barley, which is like heavy protein load, all the things that make brewing bad. But doing that with like a proper step mash and everything like that, and one of the thiolized yeast would be pretty fun.
Yeah, do that and or compare it with just like a standard, or even like just one of the Link Pilsner malts versus like Brees or whatever Pilsner to see if there's a difference between the two or something.
Yeah.
Well,
Something's
there
got a little
is
more of the
because we've
protein.
already used. We did an experiment to figure out what Pilsner malt we want to use, and we decided to go to the best malt spells because, like, yes, Link's good, but it just wasn't the flavor we were looking for.
Yeah. Seven Sotomayor, what set am I looking at? Looks like Herm's 1 gallon. No, yeah. Not 1 gallon, 1 barrel. Yeah, so this is for a 2-ish barrel setup overall, but yeah, right now they're brewing, you guys are brewing a 1 barrel. It's not Herm's. It's there's a burners underneath the things.
Yeah, so it's brew buckets are buckets, and then our tanks are the SS Brew Tech. You're still on, Peter. You're still on the recipe.
What?
See, I try the gravity feed for a little bit.
Yeah.
Just so that way.
No, I'm not. Unless something's
You are on
lagging.
ours.
Yeah, no. I was gonna say, I'm looking at the video.
You're not live then.
Oh, I'm not.
You
He
silly.
has to touch something.
Okay.
Anyways.
And then the other thing I do, Jimmy, is I actually start heating it like once it gets to about 4 gallons,
Okay.
because that speeds up the brew day.
Yeah, we got a couple to go.
Mm-hmm. Oh God, it smells so good. Dark beers are my favorite. Like, have always been one of my favorites to brew.
Yes.
So HLT is the thing on the stand over there. Then
That's
boil
currently plugged in.
the mash tun is the thing with the mash paddle on it, and then the other one's the boil kettle. Yeah, it is. Super sexy.
And then, yeah. So just to explain
Videos,
my
okay.
process is, I haven't started sparging yet. I am legitimately just gravity. I haven't even started the pump. Gravity feeding the wort into the boil kettle just to make sure I get a nice good grain bed, and also help slow down my sparge time because I have a tendency to over sparge or sparge too quick. So that's my process here that I found that works. That's getting me the closest to. And then in a second, I'm going to actually start heating up the liquid in the boil kettle, so that way I'm not waiting for 40 minutes for it to come to a boil. Because I have a tendency to do that. Oh my God, Peter brought a lot of the homebrew.
We've got options. I mean, I figured if there's 3 of us splitting it, it's going to be pretty
Yeah.
easy to get through 7 beers, because that's like 2 1/4 beers a person.
Yep. So yeah. And then
Not
I've already got my
bad.
water chemistry set up for the next for when I start sparging. So
I believe this has been covered, and I'm afraid I missed that part. Have you had roasted malts in the mash from the beginning of the mashing? Yeah, we did talk about that actually.
Yep. All the roasted grains are in the mash the whole time for this beer.
But they're quote unquote deep bittered roasted malts. They're chocolate rye, and
chocolate rye, and
wheat.
chocolate wheat. Yep.
Yeah. So since they're huskless, they do not have that same astringentness.
Trying to go for more of that deep chocolate for the beer too.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more roasted than Damon's version here.
Yeah, and all the chocolate ones are also going to be, they're not going to be as naturally bitter or astringent as like anything that's a roasted. It's like midnight wheat's going to be more roasted than chocolate wheat. Roasted rye is going to be more roasted than chocolate rye. And even compared to the carafas, I think the chocolate rye and chocolate wheat will both be softer and have some subtle fruity tones, more so than, and they're going to like more have the deep chocolate notes without the coffee-like roast.
yeah,
that
well,
like a
I'm very
carafa
excited to
would
do a
have.
side by side between the Schwartz and your dark lager is what we're calling it.
And again, since it's on the actual system, it'll be interesting. Be more
Yeah.
interesting to compare.
Yep, it'll be a nice side by side. Just like we need to, at some point in time, me and Damon need to do a side by side with the Dark Persuasion and our German chocolate cake pastry stout.
Yeah, blind taste.
But do you need dark or do you need darker? Which one is it?
I need both.
You need a 3-way.
Yeah,
A more fair.
hey, I'm always down for a good 3-way. So, yeah, and then again, slower. The slower I can sparge, the better. Just so that way I make sure I get as many sugars as me and Peter had that huge.
Is Daniel still on?
Probably.
Daniel, you want us to try a re-heavy? We got Spring Song Imperial Saison. We've got Bear Puncher's Nice Lady Lemony thing. We've got Random Yellow Cap.
Oh, is that one of the mystery? That looks pretty clear.
And then we've got Kona Fuzzy Nuts Brown Ale.
If you're opening up the Nice Lady, you're opening it up in a sink.
Okay, which one do you want to start with?
Let's do the Nice Lady so we can get our mandatory beer chug out of the way.
Better rinse your glass.
Here's my glass. So I
The
can.
middle one is the rinse. Or, no, this one.
Yeah.
There it is.
I don't really follow the 3 basin rule, Peter, with this sink.
Makes sense.
No, I do. I follow the 3 basin rule for any legal officials that are following that follow.
How's that one?
Good.
Good.
Oh, that's such a nice slow.
Right there.
Okay, we're waiting until Peter's on his video.
I'm on my video.
So it didn't volcano,
Nope.
but that's still a nice little.
It was a little on the foam side.
Yeah.
I'm not part of the competition. I'll just also chug mine at the same time. But it's
Well,
between
no,
you who he's buying a beer though. Between you two.
Okay. Ow.
I gave myself less.
Jimmy won. So,
So Adam, you got to give Jimmy a beer.
well, I thought I was buying Jimmy a beer.
Oh, you're buying Jimmy a beer. I don't know.
Adam, we're both buying Jimmy a beer. Which I probably owe you a beer for something.
I don't know.
No, actually, you owe me beers now.
We'll give Jimmy one of Adam's beers.
Give-
Rick sure with the 80% base and some acid. Where are we at?
I don't know.
That
Does
was
anyone?
a stout chocolate malt brown special B with Chinook.
Yeah.
That was in reference to that.
John P. asked, does anyone mess with weird heritage corn types to add to beer? Not yet.
Not yet. On what, John? I'm way behind. I can't read very fast. Does anyone mess with weird heritage corn types? Oh yeah, we have not on this channel, but I have because I know a dude that he actually played at my wedding, but he grows weird corn.
Well, also, we might, when I finally have the time and energy, when I do my smoked beer series, when we order some of the smoked malts we want, we're actually going to get some corn too.
The Bloody Butcher, and then I think there's a purple one too that he has. that
Yeah.
He had just posted it that he saw like 1,000 pounds, but it wasn't listed on the site.
Yeah, so because Jimmy's also interested in some of those malts. Also, I'm just going to call this out in the chat. Jimmy has been doing a lot of A/B recipes, like same batch of beer, like pretty much the same beer, but he's been adjusting like one thing and mostly yeast right now, right?
Yeah, I usually do I'll do a 10-gallon batch and then split it between 2 buckets and swap the yeast or something.
Yeah. Which is a great, anytime that you can do a side-by-side and do that try testing of doing the blind 3 as much as you can or having friends do,
Yeah.
that's going to help you understand the ingredients better. Also, more smashes. People need to do more smashes.
And whoever submitted a random beer with a yellow cap, let us know what it is if you're there.
It's probably a local.
Is this seltzer or cider? This one might be cider.
That might be cider. That was the... Alright, we're going to connect you
A
here.
little bit of
Got the cookie?
a little bit of the grunge. Grungy.
Hook up that. Okay. Open that up.
Oh, that's heavily
Pivo
aromatic.
pills.
What?
They're asking about
That's straight up
Pivo.
perfumey.
Pivo pills, the Italian Pilsner.
I have not used it yet. I do want to, yes. Even though no drought here, we are very much a German style brewery. I do want to sit down and do some experiments with just on the one barrel of different pilsners.
No, the Pivo is the style. It's
Yeah.
the Italian Pilsner with the dry hop. That's the
Yeah,
Pivo.
no, but I want to do the different styles of pilsners.
Pills.
Yeah.
Just so that way. And then I want to talk to Whistle Punk and see if we can organize a Pilsner Fest. Oh, it's like pure lavender. Like that's whoever did the yellow cap. Sorry, we probably let it sit too long. I don't even know if I can taste it. Nope, that's soap to me. Sorry.
Yeah, it tastes like eating a bar of soap. Like a lovely, natural, organic bar of soap. But yeah, that was...
Sorry about that. But that was. Where's my water bottle?
All right, we heavy.
Daniel's We Heavy. And if Daniel isn't on the live stream the whole time, he usually does watch the rest of the video, I know.
He was on. He said he can send us a fresh batch of We Heavy that's conditioning right now.
Ooh, yes, please.
With all this stuff, I'm glad I didn't bring my barley wine too. We have 2 bottles of that left.
Oh, but yours has been aging enough that I
Yeah,
would
it's
actually
2
enjoy
years.
it. Oh, 2 years?
Yeah, I did it. I did it on my 30th birthday.
That's right, you're younger than I am.
14.
Am I the oldest person here?
Yeah. By 364 days.
Yeah. It's weird having that transition because when I first opened up new Homebrew before it was Genus, way back in the day, I was used to just being the youngest person in this, in all the stuffs.
Well, Peter, we're still 3 of the youngest people in the beer industry in Spokane. Except no,
This is drinkable.
yeah, I was gonna say except no, I know Iron Goat's like assistant or cellarman and is pretty young too.
There's a handful. I mean, like Chris from
River City.
yeah, he's younger than me.
Yeah.
I think Remy's older than me. I don't know about the other. I forget the other guy's name. Yeah. If you guys are wondering, I'm 33, Matt's 32, Jimmy's 31.
No, 32.
32. But yeah, younger 32 than Matt.
When did you turn 32?
July.
July. So, I turned 33 this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, just turns, and he's just going to change to 33. So.
Okay.
Someone has a Nathan Yeager says he has that Brew Dad shirt.
I had the one that goes with my kid too, but he only fit in it for
Yeah, a little bit.
a week.
That's the hard part about it. People get you all these like nice little like onesies and stuff like that. First of all my kids started out bigger than most of the onesies they were given, and even if they didn't, they grew through the onesies like it's like a month. It's
Yeah.
a short window.
I was gonna say, Luke not being the dad. I'm an uncle.
Get your kids just like a sack to throw on or something like that.
I was gonna say, I have the best job. I can legitimately interact with the kid and then just hand it back to the parents when I'm done.
He's fussy. I'm done.
And that's not just an uncle with my sister, but that's like, I kind of consider myself a little bit of an uncle for your kids. Because your kids actually do just come up to interact with me now.
That's true. But also, the thing about owning kids is it's a retirement plan because mine are all going to be NFL or NBA babies. So. All of them going to be major sports stars.
One of them is probably going to be a scientist.
They're all going to be major sports stars / scientists.
I did turn on the pump just to.
Jesus age. Okay, all the same age then. Yeah, we're all pretty close.
I think that's why we're all friends too. Turn that way down.
It's not a dream. I'm training my kids. It's all they do is sports.
I think both kids, neither of them fit the new board. It was always the 0 to 6 or whatever, just from the start. Both kids, big.
My kids were born at 10 pounds, 8.5 pounds, and then almost 9 pounds. So they're all on the bigger side.
Cool.
My first one was the one that was born the biggest out, but he's also a week late.
That's better than me. I was 17 days late.
Wow. But did you come out at 10 pounds?
No. But I did have rubber band arms for most of my life when I was a baby.
Yeah.
I was a little chubby baby, and now
Now look at you.
Now I kind of am tall and lanky and don't know what to do with myself half the time.
Nathan Yeager saying, my son outgrew the half pint shirt, so I decided to have a daughter so she can wear it. Yeah. That's what you got to do. If you don't get full use out of the baby clothes, you just got to have another baby. That's called a proper investment.
Gotta get your money's worth, right?
Exactly. The only sports I'll ever do is esports. I was a distance runner. That was my sport.
I did marching band.
That's almost a sport. The marching band practices like way more than any sport. Like at least at our high school, they're like 5 hours a day. Like I don't know how those kids have time for homework or sleep or anything.
And like the fact that like I know when ESPN years ago did actually like a 30-minute special on marching band, they actually hooked one of the drummers up to like an oxygen reader.
Yeah.
And they consume more oxygen than a marathon runner in a shorter amount of time. Like the amount of like for high-end marching band stuff, you have to be in shape.
Yeah.
Because like you during a performance, you are sprinting across the field,
Yeah.
a full football field, while playing an instrument.
Yeah. And it doesn't even matter what you're having because you're still having, if it's even a flute, you're still having to breathe that because to play it versus a drum where you're just beating, but now you have the heavier weight. So it's just crazy.
I did 3 years of clarinet, and then halfway through marching band camp, my band director came up to me, who's the same band director at your school,
Oh yeah.
Parker.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he was like, "Hey, we have too many clarinets, and we need an extra baritone. Here you go." So I went from one of the lightest instruments to one of the heaviest.
Nice.
I was a sousaphone. That's pretty heavy.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Oh, we didn't march Sousa's.
You had actual tubas?
No, we marched contras.
Mm.
Which contras are the big ones that you throw on your shoulder?
Yeah, that's what the sousaphone, the one shoulder.
But Sousa Raps. When we were at Parade Standstill, they had to hold a tuba in front of their face.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was a lot of fun, and I actually still do occasionally just go on and watch the professional marching bands.
Yeah, that stuff's crazy. I have no idea how marching band in high school is legal at the level that our marching band does it.
Well, yeah.
Just because just the amount of hours that goes into it and how many kids are spending that much time. Like there's no way they can be straight A students and be in marching band.
They do their homework during band.
Those things go for a long time.
That's the secret.
Must eat it. 10 pounds, 11 ounces. Got you all beat.
Time to sparge some more.
Spot small.
I was gonna say the weird balancing how much water I have in there, because I'm trying to do it as slow as possible.
See how close I can get. If I can get a good look at what's going on. Well, this thing's kind of hard to see. But there we go.
Where there's steam, there's water.
That's right. We're trying to fill those tanks up.
And I can unplug the hot liquor tank now. We're at Sparge temps.
ESPN.
I'm just happy that the tank that we're going into is the one that's the closest to where I do my. I don't have to do the like super long, stretchy, and balancing where I have all my pumps, because it's that far one.
Yeah.
That's my favorite one to go into because it's the less I have to worry about, like making sure I have all my long tubes in the right spots. Because that one's a pain. Since I have to do all this balancing of positioning, because this is a. So technically, Genus has a smaller brew space than I have, but not by much.
We're both on the small scale for sure.
But we're not the smallest brewery in Spokane.
My wife just texted me and said you're wrong. She did marching band and she was a straight A student. So
I don't know about that. I don't think it's possible.
she says they do exist out there.
Well, that seems insane.
Oh no, Rick Morty, don't worry about interrupting. Keep keep talking. Like and you're not the only one with, I know that has had language barrier issues come through on our chat, and we actually love talking to people from other areas of the world when it comes to home brewing and also just brewing in general, because there are things that we do here in America that other places don't do, and it's interesting to see why and try to figure that out.
Yeah. We do them all right, though, so.
You're also just interrupting marching band talk, so it's not. But I'm assuming he's talking about the 15, 10, and 5-minute editions.
Which ones?
Oh, so what do you think about 15-minute hop, 10-minute hop, and 5-minute hop editions, and the fire off of hops? Can you say something about that? So different towards the end of the boil hop editions.
A lot of times, what I think about the way we do hop editions, I actually have to back it off based on my chill time and strategy. So let's say it's going into a system like this where we're going straight from hot boil into a counterflow chiller. The hops are still going to be in the boiling liquid as the liquid's draining into the chiller, which means that they're still going to be at that boiling hot temperature the entire time. So a 5-minute edition here isn't a 5-minute edition, right? But on a homebrew scale, we've got the immersion chiller and you have the immediate temperature drop, then you got to consider a 5-minute edition more like, what you'd expect off of a whirlpool edition, or at least some hybrid in between, because as soon as you turn on that counterflow water, you're immediately dropping the temperature at least something below that volatilization stage. It's a more complex
What's my mash volume?
thing.
John P., my wife, was a marching band person and a theater person, so it's all types of shenanigans there, for sure.
That's tough. So when I was in college, we got to the point where we were like, our workload in college, being a student athlete, was about 4 hours a day. But then you get to manage your entire day. Like, you're not like at school for the, 7-8 hours, whatever, and then have to put whatever else either before or after it, right?
Yeah.
But in high school, it's crazy to do theater and marching band and everything like that, because it's like you've got your block 6 hours, and then everything else just kind of happens to happen right after that. And so.
Well, and also from my experience in marching band, when there was pauses at practice, legitimately all the kids were on the sides doing their homework, like sidelines, drinking water, doing our homework. You're good still.
That is awesome, but also sounds like a lot of work that,
I will be honest, I was a straight A student because high school did not challenge me, so I just kind of, and I wasn't a straight A student. I did purposely bomb one class, well, didn't bomb, but I got a C in one class because I hated the teacher, and I was trying to show him up that he wasn't as big and powerful as he thought he was.
I'll show you by not doing well in your class.
Well, no, he purposely failed because I actually wrote what I thought.
I'll be honest, there were some teachers that I did poorly in their classes because I didn't like them.
Yeah, and then he threatened to make sure I didn't graduate, and then I sat there and was like, good luck with that, like.
That's when you punch him in the balls.
No, and then I told, then he found out my mom knew the whole school board, and he didn't want to go up that battle. Fresh country ales. I do my finding in the,
It says, do you prefer hot side or cold side findings? And I like to do both if I'm gonna do finding.
I hardly ever use hot side findings. However, if I want to make sure that my beer is clear, then I will always do hot side findings, and sometimes that's enough. That's the best way I think I can answer that question.
I know I'm a slow drinker, but I'm also working.
So, put shortly, I don't necessarily have a preference. I'll use cold side findings a lot more than hot side findings, but it's usually like if I'm on a timeline, if I need to get something done, then I use the cold side findings. A handful of beers I don't care to find anyways. But if I need to make sure that I have a clear beer in a short amount of time, then my thought is I'm going to start with the hot side findings, partly because it's the first stage in the step and it can clarify a lot.
Yeah.
But as a normal rule, I don't plan to use findings unless I need a clear beer relatively quickly.
Yeah. I'll usually do a whirl flock, and then when I keg, I'll add the Silifine.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say, and I just do roll flock here. But then we also lager all our beers for God knows how long.
Ellen Johnson, we're drinking your Fuzzy Nuts Brown Ale, which is a Kona coffee brown clone. And I gotta be honest, on the first impression, it tastes similar if you're watching.
And I think I think this is the second bottle of this week, because I know we've had one like a little while back.
Okay.
So I think you dropped 2 bottles off. Or thing.
It's definitely a drinkable beer. Is it extract? I think I taste something in that flavor range that I usually can attribute to being an extract beer, but correct me if I'm wrong. Rick Morty, US is top. I'm learning the most from you. Yeah, USA. I'm just messing around. Hopefully people understand that I joke around a lot.
Thank you for reminding me to hit my like button.
Hit like.
One thing that I found interesting when you look at a 60-minute edition versus a 30-minute is the IBU contribution isn't that much different. So for me, when I'm looking at if it's a hop that I want the flavor from anyways, like I'm going to add it in the later editions anyways.
Yeah.
I'll just do a 30-minute edition just so I get more of that flavor personally.
Have you checked out that new calculator that I mentioned a couple weeks ago?
Not the one with
The Brewosophy guys were talking about?
Yeah.
I was going to say, I figured you would jump on that chance.
Yeah, I also usually add my hop additions a little bit later in that case. And I had a comment on one of the, I think on maybe it was on our Brew live stream, or maybe it was on something that I was talking about doing a fresh hop. But they asked why the pellet hop edition wasn't slated for a 60-minute edition. And I was like, it probably doesn't matter, and I kind of want some flavor off of it.
Yeah.
I err
Since,
towards that side
since it
usually.
is a mystery hop.
Yeah. I'm going one way or the other. Either I'm doing like, a 60 to 90 minute edition of a very small, super high alpha hop because I don't want hop flavor at all.
Yeah.
Or in all of the cases, which is most cases, I'm probably going to add my bittering edition a little bit later.
Yeah. That's just what I've kind of moved to myself. It's like,
Yeah.
when you look at like on Brew File that gives you the IBU, it's like, 3 to 5 different IBU difference. So if you're going to add that flavor in a later edition anyways, might as well go later. And then I'll do like a 15-minute edition over a 20-minute. I just kind of push everything later and later. Yeah.
Especially if you have a longer boil or a longer cool down time, or if you're going into a counterflow without pre-chilling at all. One thing I've done when I really wanted to control like whirlpool editions was do pre-chilling even if I'm going through a counterflow. So I kind of do both immersion and counterflow chiller. But
And we use counterflow here.
Yeah. So for you, if you're adding a hop edition at 0 and it's going into the thing, then that's really in boiling hot liquid for however long it takes to get into the chiller, or however long it takes for the liquid level to drop below, whatever.
Yeah, so, usually about 10 minutes is when I get all the tubing set up.
Yeah, so that's, there's no 0-minute addition in that case.
Yeah, and I use an immersion with mine, and with some of my hop stands when I do like the IPAs, I found, okay, chill down to this temperature, and then your 15 minutes is already down 40 degrees, so it's like down to like 140. So I've switched to just like running for like a minute or two is all. So I kind of start a little bit higher than the projected temperature for the whirlpool or hop stand, and then I'll just let it sit.
Yeah, because it'll drop down into that range.
Yeah, that's what I do.
These marching band kids like theater kids just getting up to all sorts of shenanigans. I feel like theater kids get up to a lot more shenanigans than marching band kids. Keep in mind, I did musical theater stuff.
Yeah.
So I've got a little bit of insight there.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, I know that at least jazz band trips have had to be canceled because of shenanigans on the bus.
But that's different than marching band. Like marching band is like you're in the military but for music,
Yeah.
Jazz band is like, so I was also in jazz choir, and jazz band and jazz choir are both smaller groups of people than the big stuff. But
actually, so came back to something that we were talking about a little bit earlier, Matthew Lopez.
Oh, Finalizing yeast strains. We have, but at least for me, I haven't tried a Finalizing yeast strain Well, I haven't done the right things to maximize the benefit of a Finalizing yeast strain. Aaron was talking to me about what's the powder thing?
Oh,
the new that's supposed to be for thiolized stuff.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, the stuff from the grapes.
Yeah. So I have actually like grape skin wine tan, and I think that work the same. But this one's branded towards adding it for beer for the thiolized thing. Phantasm, Matthew Lopez, thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
So he reached out to the Phantasm people and is going to get some, like some sort of,
I was gonna say-
distribution contract, something set
Yeah.
up. But
Well, and I like, so in Spokane, the greater Spokane area, we technically have 3 different homebrew shops. On the north side of Spokane, we have our buddy Aaron.
That's Spokane Brewing.
Yeah, great guy. Valley is Genus.
which we look to for like the sexiest owner.
And then over in Post Falls, we have, used to be
They're-
Hop Stop.
They're still the hop stop for the homebrew, but they now have a brewery in them as well. And the brewery is called
Curlis?
something regional, something to do with,
It's like a native term that I can't pronounce.
yeah, it's
Jake, where are you, Jake? Jake, please tell me how to pronounce it.
what is it called? It's something. It's like it's a local landmark.
Yeah. And the great thing is I know that they don't. So Sparge, they don't carry length, but anytime their customers come in for length, they are immediately like, go to Genus. It's like 10 minutes away.
Yeah. So Aaron, yeah, but anyways, Aaron's been looking into the Phantasm stuff, and we're gonna do a collab video where we do like side by side using non-thiolized and thiolized yeast with the Phantasm.
Oh, nice.
So we're gonna use the same strain. This is Aaron's idea. The same exact brew day, but with the same strain that's been thiolized and not.
Yeah.
So
Start party was good with that.
Kinixu, that's the name.
Yeah.
Which I know Kinixu because there's a place up north called the Kinixu Family Nudist Ranch, and that's where the Berry Buns Fun Run is hosted on the three-time champion. So
Well, it's because everyone just wants to stay behind you and look at your bum.
I have a pretty nice ass, not gonna lie. But yeah, that Phantasm, all that to say, let's go back to the question. We have used stylized yeasts. We haven't used them in a way that would really maximize their benefit. And so far, I think our collective experience is kind of like, yeah, they're fine. They work like yeasts.
The only professional brewery I know that is actually starting to do this experiment is Single Hill.
Yeah.
I know Garland's done it a few times, and Adam has really been impressed with it himself.
Nice.
And he's like, yeah, we can cut our dry hop additions in half and still get
That maximum.
that hit.
Yeah. We gotta get Adam back on a live streamer. Get him on a video sometime soon.
Well, I was
It'd be
gonna say-
interesting too to do like the Italian grape ale to get that
Yeah.
all the grape in there
That'd be awesome.
with the thiols and stuff.
I can get some Sauvignon Blanc Must, and then do something like Sauvignon Blanc Must IPA. I hear liquid. I hear water.
Yep. Nope. That was the Sparge. That's the end of Sparge. I'm bringing it up to volume now.
I'm so attuned to like random like water sounds or air sounds or whatever like leaking because like I'll be like head down and work and then hear something go off in the back and like no I have to like get up and run back and everyone will be like what's going on? Something's overflowing or something's leaking.
No. Yeah. That was the Sparge arm being about done.
Gotcha.
Which then I need to top off and then.
Rick Morty with my beer. Why my beer and up in 3 days? What can I do next? I have another keg to transfer. What is a good time to transfer to second keg? Use USO5 from the keg, 140 milliliters from the batch before. So I'm guessing, I think that is you trying to reuse your yeast cake, and you ferment it in the keg. Correct me if I'm wrong there. But if you're using, if you're trying to put your fresh wort on top of yeast cake, if it's cold and under pressure, so if you ferment it in a keg, then that's a closed system and that's pretty shelf stable. So you can throw that in the fridge and that'll be good subsequently. However, if it's any sort of an open system, like let's say you fermented in a bucket or a carboy and you had to siphon off, I like to use that like the same day or the next day, like very, very quickly.
When I do a second batch, I always do run off into a keg as I'm brewing, and then I'll just dump the new batch after I chill it right onto that whole yeast cake.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to do it because if you don't have that downtime, nothing else that's not what you want can grow. Also, if you get a really healthy start, even if there is like floating bacteria in there, a really healthy start is going to make your beer clean kind of regardless. So
Yeah.
you have like a double win there. But once you start letting your yeast not have access to food, they get a little bit deteriorated. There's open air, room for bacteria to grow. I get worried if it's not a closed system. But if you're in a keg, and if you ferment it in the keg, your yeast cake's in a keg, and you transfer off that keg, and it's all closed system, then you should theoretically be fine. You just hopefully pumped clean CO2 in and clean beer out. It's still closed. So
I guess I'm kind of guilty of the transferring too early, kind of like you did at your other homebrew shop.
mm-hmm.
That's probably one of the reasons why I do the hot and cold fining, just because I'm doing it a little bit quicker. Just because I'm like, gravity's hit, just transfer it over.
Yeah.
And I'll just let the aging kind of happen in the keg while it's carbonating and stuff.
I think that makes it easier to consistently make good beer, in my mind. If you don't have like, super fancy unit tanks and everything like that, I think that's kind of like the next best thing you can do.
I mean, I started out with a 10-gallon kettle and a brew bag, and that's what got me to win the first competition. So
yeah. Yeah, I mean, a lot of my favorite beers are still on open systems that like look as janky as even systems like this, like what we have at Genus is pretty much the same thing, but systems like this are still super janky. We make better beer than a lot of people do on the fanciest systems possible.
So Matthew Lopez with the comment of the dry hopping eliminates up the free thiols. I think that's part of where you only dry hop half as much.
Right.
Like you don't need as much to get that impact.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, actually.
So just for the brew update, I've hit volume on the boil kettle. So now I'm just any of the extra sparge water, because I probably put a little bit too much sparge water in. I'm dumping off so that way I can let the grain bed cool before I ask someone to start scooping grain for me.
Before grains are scooped.
Because that's my least favorite job. It's actually gotten not too bad, and it's actually helped build my arm strength where I can actually start moving kegs.
Yeah.
Because kegs are, like, half-barrel kegs are heavy.
Kegs are friends, not food.
I was going to say, like, kegs are, half-barrel keg is a heavy keg.
Yep.
So.
Matt, chug. Get a curiosity audience. It's the best one.
Well, this kind of reminds me of like the Coco Jones.
I like it. It's
Yeah. With like to me, I get a little bit of coconut.
Yeah, no, I get that, like, that sweetness, that coconut sweetness.
Yeah.
Whoever made that Breno, good job.
Yeah, I was going to say, please post that recipe in the Discord if you're watching, because I want to know exactly what you did, because I like it.
Back. Tully Hall. All right, Tully Hall, Spring Summer Saison. Thank you for showing us, or labeling that so we know what's on it.
Yep, I was going to say very.
Next time beats.
So, okay, I am going to temporarily turn off so that way, or
All the
disconnect.
noise.
No, restroom.
Ah.
Okay, power's off, can't hear me.
He's taking a grumper, guys.
Daniel, yes, Coco Jones. That's the one that said that Brando kind of reminded me of.
Oh, like Black Raven?
Yeah. That's when that last beer kind of tasted like that to me. A little bit of that coconut.
So Tully Hall Spring Ale Imperial Saison. First of all, on the nose, I'm super excited because this tastes or smells very farmhousey. I get like a little bit of Brett character, like classic barnyard alfalfa. So that's exciting.
And Daniel, it wasn't a clone of the Coco Jones. That's just kind of the flavor that I got from it. It was supposed to be the Kona.
Yeah, it was a clone of the Kona, whatever Kona's brand ale is. Imperial Saison's good. On the flavor, you don't get as much of the alfalfa. It turns into more like lemon, like grassy lemon kind of flavor. It's really good, but not as aggressive as I like. I like my farmhouse saisons farmhousey.
So if you guys need to use the bathroom, use the second bathroom because the first one's out of the California where those are.
Sounds good. I'll do that as soon as you're back on because I also have to pee, and then you can help hold down chats and stuff.
Yep, I'm back.
Shady's back again.
Yep.
They're almost. So now you're working on getting up to a boil, right? Explain
Yeah.
where you are in the process. I'm gonna go pee.
That's what the plan is.
Yeah. So when I start transferring, I actually turn up the propane to pretty much full, so that way I'm heating the liquid as I'm transferring it in. Because I like to get home at a decent hour.
Yeah.
I like to be done at a decent hour, especially since most of my brew days are immediately after Genus days, so on my normal brew day, I would be starting now. No, I wouldn't be. It'd be closer to 11, let's be honest. Like, even though the live stream's done, I'm usually not leaving Genus until at 10:45, and it takes 11 minutes to get here. And I have that time perfectly. It's 11 minutes. I know exactly which routes to take. So yeah, so in our boil kettle, which is behind Jimmy, we are starting to bring it to a boil. I have, I have 39 gallons. I'm watching the camera go up. Yeah, you can see it there. So we're seeing that pre-boil volume is 39 gallons.
If I can give you a little bit more space there.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's
so
not the cord, I'm short.
yeah, this is the fun. Oh, I should probably do the other thing I need to do. Should probably start grabbing hops. So it's it's Hallertau and what? I
Tradition is the bittering. It's tradition and Tetnang are the two hop
Okay.
types.
Yep. Cool. I like to just grab all the hops out at once, especially for a low hop beer. Stuff's on my fridge. Turn that.
Just get the GoPro, just go right into it. Underwater effect. I don't know.
Somehow wireless next to the heating software. There's got to be a way to have something more wireless.
I also don't know if it can handle the heat.
Yeah. Live boil. Alright, then you just went for a ride. Hopefully that was super helpful. How often do you take pH readings and gravity readings? Did you guys, I don't know if you guys take any pH readings, gravity readings? Or?
No.
Usually
With
I
the
do-
with the RL, I'm sure the calculation should be pretty
Yeah.
exact.
Yeah, the pH
Because I
is
use
pretty
the acid
close.
malt in this.
Yeah. There?
At home, I just trust the Brewfather app, and then what I did is I average out the 4 wells that can go into our house or whatever, and that's just my water profile is my average.
That's not too dissimilar from what I do. Yeah. I'll take pH readings every once in a while just to see if I'm like still like it was like as a check-in, but I'm usually pretty close regardless.
Yeah. I usually try to hit like 5.3 for my target pH in the recipe. So then if it hits a little bit lower or higher, you're still in the range.
Yeah. Then for gravity, I pretty much just do pre-boil. So when I'm done sparging, I'll take a gravity reading, and then if for whatever reason I'm low or volume's off, then I might, depending on the beer style, I might adjust. So let's say on this example, let's say we're done sparging because we're at the volume we want. We know what our boil off's going to be, but we're low gravity. I might continue sparging, and just plan on a longer boil because a little extra boil is going to not hurt this beer.
Yeah.
But if it was like a hazy IPA, what I get's what I get.
Yep.
Like,
Hazy
I'm
pale. So hit it.
I'm not gonna extra boil a hazy.
Barely Swinson, what hop are you using for your smash?
Yeah. Oh, and what malt? What hop and malt are you using for a smash?
I need my phone because I did not realize we were completely out of Hallertau. What's how fast it's on it?
Alpha acids. Speaking of smash that like button, guys. I'm so good at things.
There you go.
7%.
There you go, Pearl.
I don't. Do you want to look at what we have in the back?
What's a good tradition substitute?
Good tradition challenge. Nobody heard that.
I guess I'll stay here. Oh, Michigan Copper. Is that the? I know the Michigan stuff is like Columbus, Chinook, and stuff, but in Michigan, so they've renamed it. So I
Right.
can't remember if that's like the Chinook.
Well, was it the Chinook? I think it was the Chinook that ended up being
That's what you guys have the pineapple. It's pineapple, more
Oh.
pineapple from Michigan than pine or whatever.
Yeah.
That's you and Logan had that. I think it was an extract recipe you guys did.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, Jimmy, I have Hallertau Blanc.
White wine.
That could be
That's
fun.
a no. I have Ariana. Would Ariana work?
Ariana would probably be better
Red
than
berry.
Hallertau Blanc.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do Ariana. Because I have a ton of Ariana.
Like it wouldn't matter. Like I think it'd be fun because of like the red berry from Ariana with the chocolate.
Yeah.
It could be good.
Okay.
Yeah. let's do
Yeah,
that.
because I realized I was going through. It's like, where's the traditional one? So Damon, when you watch this,
Maybe did that fix it? Are we fixed? I'm wondering if my computer's doing something weird.
So they can kind of hear us.
You just what is it? Oh, yeah. We can't hear you talk or whatever. What happened? What happened, everybody? Yeah, now it's okay. All right.
I don't know. Mine's been at B3 the whole time, and they've been hearing me, so I don't know. This is what it was when I turned it on. I figure channel 3 is channel 3.
Yeah, that makes sense. There we go. Now we're hearable. Alright, I'm gonna turn you guys off real quick. These were batteries. I wasn't sure if they were fresh or not. So.
On my fresh shop, I also added some Southern Cross to my bittering, and then a little bit of the Whirlpool, just because I think it was like a pound and a half, so it ended up being like 5 ounces of dry.
Now we're at full batteries. That's it.
ignore me, I'm measuring hops.
Someone's trying to play Tombs. No, I wasn't trying to play Tombs, guys. I was trying to open up RuneScape so I can have something else going on the side. Because I thought it'd be entertaining if we have a long downtime period. What's the other options? Like full tilt poker or something like that?
What?
It's
We
a
have deck cards
non-sound-
here.
Non-sound option.
Minesweeper.
Well, I'm just trying to like, I'm trying to think of something that I could put on a video for like if we're in the dead time for something visual.
Oh, yeah.
So since we're switching to Ariana, I guess one question for you would be, how much fruit character do you really get, like as far as fruit impact in the beer from the hops versus trying to add fruit, you know?
I mean, that really depends on how you're trying to use the
it.
hops. But with Ariana, if you're doing it as a 30 or a 60 or something like that, I imagine.
Well, I'll do I have the tradition as a bittering and then also a late edition setup, so it'll be bittering and a late edition.
With the Ariana, you should be. I would say
It's probably not also that super strong,
right.
but just in general, like say the berry flavored ones or whatever. Because I found like sometimes like if you get like to me like a pale ale level of hopping versus IPA, you get more of the fruit characteristic and not the hop flavor, like hop flavor.
Right.
And then IPA, you get that and the hop flavor.
Yeah. Again, depending on how. Like, so if you're, let's say it's a low alp and you're adding a high amount in terms of total volume too, that ends up making a big difference as well.
Because you get the vegetal compound.
Just the actual amount of physical plants you're throwing into there.
Sean Huntley, good morning.
I know, Sean.
I am sorry I was not on top of the hops.
Thanks for receiving feedback in real time and great content too. Thank you, John Hakio. Appreciate you. Yeah, we can hear you now. All right. Kind of hear you. I'm glad everything's working out and everybody's set up. Sean Huntley. Morning.
Dang it, now I have to go look at what my alphas were on it so I can properly calculate.
Window capture. Shuffle change.
Ariana is 10.2. 10.2. Save.
Nobody look. This is my back end.
That's all that they're seeing.
Oh, the scene. There we go. Did that destroy the sound? Unmute that. Did you hear a part of a Subaru Forester commercial? While we're figuring this out, I'm just trying to figure
The
something
commercial
out.
did.
The commercial turned off our sound or no?
Now he wants to buy a Subaru. Daniel says it was really loud. Just turn that source down a bit.
So it bumps it up. So
There we
it bumps
go.
it up by 11 IBUs.
Desktop audio.
Like I said, it is what it is.
It's just the hop that I had legitimately the
Sorry,
most
I'm
of.
learning.
Yeah.
Trying to learn
And
all
I
this
was like,
stuff.
trying, and
Live
it's
on
like
film,
none of the
on
hops I
camera.
have are like 7% except for the non-British German hops. I was like, I'm not doing a non-German hop in this.
Yeah.
That's up webcam. All right, all the
That
audio
or you
sources
just cut
other than
the
thing are off.
the amount down to hit the IBU, but I don't know,
Yeah.
I think the Ariana could be it'd be fun.
Yeah. So
And
yeah,
that's-
I didn't cut down any of the sizes. So
Yeah, that's where again when you're doing a scale up and you're doing it like, just have fun with it. I don't feel like it's worth stressing over personally.
well, it knows how it's like. Okay, here's what I have in the fridge that would work.
Seeing our setup is inspiring. I'm glad you're inspired.
My normal brew size is 5 gallons, sometimes 10 when I'm doing split batch. So
Now that source should still be down. Let us know if you hear this. I doubt you do.
The Subaru commercial,
Yeah.
which I drive a Subi. We have a Kia, we have a Hyundai, and a Subaru.
no, 2
Honda.
Hondas
Hondas.
Which in theory,
or 1 Honda.
Yeah, because
in
you're a
theory,
Kia,
that shouldn't have
Honda,
been sound.
Subaru.
We don't
Yeah.
hear it. Perfect. Hey, look what I figured out. Now I can jump back and
Hey,
forth
that's a
between
Toyota.
things.
I'm actually surprised that no one showed up yet to say, "Are you guys open?"
Are you guys open? We'll serve them beer.
I've gotten that
Take
like
their money.
once so far. And they walked and they clearly looked at the open sign being completely off, and then they still opened the door and were like, "Are you guys open?" And I was like, "No, I'm making beer."
That's what's hard with the love of God sometimes is it's so he's got the tint in the windows, so you gotta like, okay, they are open.
Yep.
Plus, he has a sign out on the street, which is nice. But
Well, while we wait, because like legitimately, I mean, just we're in waiting phase. That's why I start heating the liquid early,
Yep.
so that way I don't. But let's go to my Reddit and see my post. I'm behind on all my webcomics. State beer. I had 72 comments on my state beer.
Nice. State fish beer or just state beer in general?
State beer in general. I did comment that we do a lot of fish beers, seafood
That's
beers.
good.
So, did anyone comment about Alabama? That's the one I care about because Alabama's first state alphabetically.
Yes.
Okay.
So as we're doing,
Which will probably start in November unless we want to just get through the rest of this year holiday beers and then. But that's still 52 months. That's just over a year of beers. If we do 2 beers a month.
yeah. But what will the Alabama be?
That's what I'm looking to see if anyone's commented Alabama.
I actually don't know what kind of food goes into Alabama. Like, are they barbecue or are they
They do have some Alabama barbecue.
just really white food?
Well, Alabama is the Razorbacks, is their big college team, right?
I don't know. Alabama, I feel like they win at football sometimes. That's about all I know.
Nope, nothing about Alabama. So Alabama foods. Oh, by the way, again, if you guys didn't hear me, switching to the Ariana hops bumps up our IBUs by
11.
11 IBUs.
What about catfish? Is that Alabama? Like, I feel like noodling seems like an Alabama thing.
Fried chicken, fried green tomatoes, banana pudding, pecan pie.
Pecan porter.
Alabama is known for its barbecue. It's a white barbecue sauce,
Oh, okay.
So good.
and as well as soul food classics like fried green tomatoes, classic southern pork chops, collard greens, fried chicken, shrimp and grits, tomato pie. What is Alabama's state food? State nut is the pecan. State fruit is the blackberry. State tree fruit is the peach. State dessert is lane cake.
Huh. State fruit. There's state fruit is the
Sweet
peach. I think
potato.
so Georgia's supposed to be like the peach fruit, right?
Yeah, that's literally like when the quarters they did the peach for the Georgia State. So
Yeah. So, well, I was going to say peach for Georgia.
yeah. If you got pecan, you could do like the pecan porter, or maybe do something with like fried green tomatoes. Do like a green tomato. How do you do like a kettle sour or something? Because there's kind of
Well, I
a
was going
tartness
to say,
to it.
what I want to look up is the white barbecue.
That is apple cider vinegar and mayo is the two base ingredients.
So do I want to play around with a pecan Graf porter?
Could do that. Well, that vinegar wouldn't really make sense with that. That would
Yeah.
be like a sour kind of thing.
A pecan porter sour pecan porter. You know I'm all about getting more sours.
That's true.
Alabama. Here, I'm gonna look up Alabama state fish just for Peter.
Is it catfish? Catfish green tomato sour?
Nope,
Yep.
tarpon.
Tarpon green tomato sour?
Daniel says peach, save peach for Georgia, which we agree on.
Yeah,
Yeah, I feel like the pecan idea is pretty good too. That'd be a
yeah.
solid win too.
Pecan, saying a little bit. Oh, we could actually do
Pecan Schwarzbier.
no pecan porter with a little bit of smoke malt for the barbecue.
If you could get the pecan smoked
We can buy the pecan smoked malt from
Sugar Creek or whatever.
yeah. Ooh, and use actually.
But if you only did the smoked malt, then the people that have nut allergies could still
Fried
drink
green Flanders ale. Fried green tomato Flanders ale.
I'm not mad at that idea. It's when you start incorporating the pecan and porter, my brain goes a little bit explodey. Like I'm not really sure how all that would go together.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Okay. Oh, can I throw votes up in this chat? No.
Is there a way to do polls?
it. I think you have to post it probably as a separate.
Yep. No, I'm going to.
Hickory smoked pecan red ale.
Oh.
And I still like the pecan smoke since it's pecan, but
Yeah.
it still smells or sounds good.
Survey. I'm gonna post a link. Survey. Survey Monkey. Let's see if I can set one on Survey Monkey real quick. Get started. Can I do a free one on Survey Monkey? No, I don't want to create an account. If we were on Twitch, I could do this.
Well, sorry, we don't have that set up yet, and also the upload speed here isn't
Yeah.
switchable.
On this video, so that way we can decide by next week, either comment pecan smoked or fried green tomato,
Yeah.
and
Should we go the pecan avenue or the green tomato avenue? That's the big question.
well, actually, no. Once we post this video, I will make 2 comments and pin them, and then you like the one that you want the most
There you go. That's a good idea.
for Alabama, and then we'll look at starting Alabama. Hopefully November, unless we decide to do a turkey beer, because that was brought up was doing a beer for
Holiday beer.
well, no, beer that you would braise a turkey in.
Oh, gotcha.
Remember that was brought
Yeah,
up?
because we did we talked about the garlicky thing.
Yeah.
Like a brine.
Yeah.
So. Come on, boy.
Bring it up to a boil.
I'm trying to.
We're moving.
All right.
It's going. I realized I need to bump up the
So-
heat a little bit.
Arkansas has the Razorbacks for college.
That's who I was thinking of.
Yeah, I just pulled out. I was double checking. I'm like, so cherry wood smoked because you got the pulled pork. Because that cherry wood reminds me of pulled pork every time.
Ooh, yeah. Turkey beer. Show me the pot.
Show me the life hack.
Well, as soon as Peter dies.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I can switch the screens.
Let's see.
I was in first for a little bit.
I don't know. Could you use stuffing in the mash?
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
the instant stuffing.
I wouldn't do instant stuffing. I'd actually bread crumble
Yeah.
so it'd be almost a kvass.
Yeah.
Like I would do almost a
there you go.
kvass.
Get people from the grain shed. Get Teddy. Like, hey, what are we gonna do here? Give us some of your leftover bread. I remember.
And then do a darker beer because I always like braising. I've actually always used browns to braise turkey whenever I've done turkey braising with a beer because I want that nutty browniness.
Yeah.
But if I grew it,
I agree. It'll be a lot more entertaining and different than a pumpkin beer.
okay, this is gonna go over to the sink so I can clean it in a bit.
Hey Peter, do you know Nokia 3010 Snake? The old school phone.
Yes. Way back in the day.
I remember my parents had the one with like the helicopter where you just push the up button.
What the
I think
predecessor
it's-
to Angry Bird?
Or no, Flappy Bird.
Oh yeah, Flappy Bird.
Yeah.
It was a Flappy Bird Master. There we go.
And we're, of course, me and Jim are watching on a delay, so.
Right in the middle of being wrapped while I'm wrapping somebody else. It's possible.
Oh, this is like a cheating version of steak. You're not supposed to be able to touch yourself,
Oh, I know, yeah. Oh, I'm being wrapped. Someone else is
especially
wrapping
in
me.
public. But
I'm being wrapped.
He
We
says-
die
Oh,
eventually.
we're close, Jimmy.
he says all the late '80s, early '90s kids should know about snake
But look, you can see it's so close. It's not quite there.
peeking through with the bubbles.
Yep. This is the first edition when we get to that point in time.
I should have let him out. So he could just be out and be wrapped by this guy. Oh, I escaped. Nice.
Peter, do you know why Cascade hops oftentimes are smaller than all the other hops for pellets?
Why the pellets are smaller?
Yeah.
That's got to do with the rack material versus oil content. The thing that makes pellets stick together is the oil content.
Because like, I just got some from Yakima Valley, and they're like the tiniest little pellets compared to like every other hop is like the same size.
I'm gonna wait until it's actually at a boil, because like right now it's like homebrew side. I would probably add hops now, but I was gonna say they smell really nice, and that's a fresh bag. I just need to make sure the grain is out by noon. Don't die, Peter.
Working on it. I'm in the lead. I'm the winner.
Well, you messed up then somehow.
How did I mess up?
I don't know.
It's not a mistake to be the best.
Oh, that's the other thing I need to do right now. Open up the back door so we can vent some of the heat. This is about the
Worms
time.
must be a great source of protein in the mash.
Okay, I would say that's a boil. Jimmy.
Okay.
So what you guys can't see is we actually did just do our first hop edition of Ariana at. Okay. So
guys
next
can't
hop
see it?
edition is in 35 minutes because you have a 25-minute hop edition. That's weird.
More flavor than a 30.
Yeah. Cool. And since we're at a boil, I can turn it down just barely. Oh, there we go. There we go. Look at, oh. There's your die.
No, I was turning it off so
Oh, yeah. You can, here, before you get back there, stop. I'm going to move something out of the way for you.
the tank.
Yeah, because I don't need it anymore.
I always shut my tank off first,
Mm-hmm.
whatever's in the line. Just because that's what my dad always did with barbecues.
Yeah. A little bit of propane, I'm not super, but yeah.
That's not. I'm not. It's a little saddest. I actually got Allie's dad to
Alright.
start doing that. His barbecue was turned on.
I gave it to that guy just because I was done.
Okay.
There we go. Live viewing window.
Yep.
Did you get an ATEM so I can just do mixing board stuff on the side?
So yeah, no, we've hit boil, which Peter's going to lift the camera and show.
much runway? If you wanna
Oh God.
gingerly work your way there.
Yep, there we go. There's a nice view. Oh, have to adjust because of the window. Okay. There we go.
Attaboy. We're mucking out some mash.
Yep, and then mucking out mash because Jimmy, that is the one thing when you start doing pro-ams is the am gets to do the dirty work. Right, Jimmy?
Yeah, I don't mind it. A lot less than that. I can go with the 7-barrel system. But they have the mash rate, which was like, you just wait for it to drop out.
And you don't have to be absolutely perfect, but as much as you can. Yeah, and then we have a local farmer that comes and picks it up, which will us guys will probably help get it into the truck because about 50% of the time it's the farmer, 50% of the time it's his wife, and the metal one gets heavy.
This is the farmer's wife.
So, oh my God, Rick Morty, I absolutely adore you right now. It's God, Google, God, fuck, good. Yes, ye hard work, fuck. Fiber. Yep, the animals are very.
You don't have to be lonely at brewersonly.com.
Peter.
Yeah.
Go with the half real quick.
What?
The half.
The half. Number 3
He wants you to analyze.
or 4. It's 4,
Oh, I got number 3.
which is the pills.
Yeah.
No, I want your feedback on the
On the half?
Yeah.
because it feels like it's dropped. It's like lager. It had a large lager drop.
To me, it tasted more like like an American wheat lager versus a half.
Gotcha. I'll get to that next.
Also, I need to keep track of how much beer we drink out of the tap so I can update Damon.
Yeah. I'm at not even a full beer yet.
Yeah,
Between the Schweiers and that.
I figured I was like, I just want to pay for my non-shifter beers that we are all drinking. The half? Hef.
Health.
Hefeweizen. Hefe.
The Hefeweizen.
Which the beer that's currently on is not mine. It was made pre-me, and then mine will be on next.
Premium.
Yep.
Just rename it as a wheat lager.
Rick Morty is this 200 liter. This will be about 120 liter.
Yeah, because this is because it's 32 gallons.
Yeah.
Assuming everything goes correctly.
Assuming.
Which at some point in time I'll need to figure out which tank I'm stealing a blow off tube off of and switching over. Probably Pilsner, because I'm carving up the Pilsner as we speak. Oh, I was until we ran out of CO2. So I texted Damon already about that.
Hence.
About the CO2?
Yeah, I know. Spunning would help me a lot. It'd also save on money. And that means I can keg beers faster. Yeah. Oh, I could fit in one of the mash tun. I can fit in both the boil kettle and the mash tun.
Combined.
No, just
He's going to. That's later on in the episode.
How many likes?
How he likes to dive headfirst into the Mashelton.
Into the boil kettle.
I'm gonna say 1,000 on the live stream. Get us up to 1,000 likes on the live stream.
We'll make it happen. Call your grandmothers. Tell them they need to be watching.
That's as good as I can do.
That
Just
is
like
perfectly good.
Funimation.
Just throw that in the sink for now. And then I'll rinse it. Oh God, you did a little bit better job than I do.
Is that dang
He's got experience.
Yep.
That is definitely one of the things with the brew bag. You just dump it out.
Yeah. There is a system I've been looking into called Brew.
I've heard of that.
I talked to you about that on our program.
Yeah, I think that'd be. I didn't, until.
It's like a Colorado system or whatever.
Well, they have the Colorado brew systems, like the just giant version of a brew in a bag, and so now there's an updated version called Brew, where it's not just the mash and the boil in one big system, but it's the mash, boil, and fermenter all in one big system.
Yeah.
So I'm curious as to how that all works, because the mash, boil, and fermenter, I imagine there's going to be some hot spots and some stuff that I wouldn't normally want in the fermenter. So I'm curious how that filtration part works.
Yeah, and from what I've read, what a lot of people, a lot of those brewers that use that system do, is it's an insulated jacket as well with water. They'll fill it with water during the mash and everything, and that's their Sparge water. So it's already heated up
Oh, gotcha.
to save on water and stuff too.
Yeah.
So they just pump out of that jacket of water, which you just have to know that you're just going to do a water cooling system and not glycol. But
Yeah. That's fine.
But yeah. But they use that as their Sparge water.
Crazy. Anybody watching interested in all that? Daniel, if we reach 1K likes on the live stream, can I get a wild ale inoculated by my face? Absolutely. That's going to have some crazy bacteria on it, for sure.
Some beer.
And also that means you get to come and hang out with us. Where's my beer?
Mine's up there.
I need to see that combined space permits. He says he'll definitely drive over that.
Sweet, and I got the grain out and plenty of time for the farmer shop.
Nice. So now we're just boil and chill, yeah?
Boil and chill. I might start spraying down the grain.
Okay. Then boil 60-minute boil?
Yep,
Yeah.
we're 15 minutes in so far.
15?
No, we're 10 minutes in.
10 minutes in, so 50 minutes to go.
50 minutes to go. Sorry, I was looking at the timer.
We'll just, we'll plan on probably stopping the stream at the end of the boil, I'm guessing, because, transferring isn't a lot of...
Takes like 30, 40 minutes to transfer, so yeah.
Yeah. So you guys got 50 minutes to ask us questions. Not that we're doing anything very visually stimulating.
So hurry up.
But
Also, Daniel, you should just drive over in general so that way me and Warren can take you out for beer and coffee.
it's true.
Because Warren did promise to take you out for good coffee. We met him at a coffee shop, so.
Yeah.
Oh. We should probably bump the camera up.
Oh, you don't like that angle?
Well, I'm sure they like it, but I hear faces are actually better for.
Oh, there it is. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I hear faces are better than crotches for YouTube algorithm.
Yeah, right.
So. But yeah, no, this is about the time I do crack open the back door. In the winter, it's going to be real interesting.
It's better, because then the cold air will force the
Suck it out.
Yeah, the water out more.
One of these days, he'll finally do it. Daniel will come visit us.
Prove it.
Cross those mountains when you get here.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, I'm definitely going to probably be switching to tank tops for brew days. Because it gets so warm. And the main reason I wear a baseball cap is to keep my hair out of my face.
Yeah. Mine's about as long as it's ever been.
Yeah. And that keg is fully cleaned and purged. Or a tank, not keg. The tank is fully cleaned and purged.
Little Barn Brewing. He's brewing a 1-barrel batch of cream ale right now. 20-gallon kettles.
Nice.
Hey, Low Barn, you're actually on the same because our boils started 12 minutes ago.
We at Genus usually do same brew kettles into 2 barrels, just like this, but we'll also sometimes go into a 5-barrel fermentation vessel, which means multiple batches. So brewing from small batches into big fermenters, we understand.
Yeah, because I usually do, because it's 50-gallon kettles and mash tun I have. So I have to double batch into the big tanks.
Yep. We just have a side boiler.
It's 55. That's the biggest size of regular shaped kettle.
Rick Morty, can I say something? Just checking. Perfect.
Yes. I have not banned you. I legitimately have the power to ban. And I have not banned any. No, I have banned bots. That's a lie.
I always do the show whenever it's like people that
We can't hear you, Peter.
You're not labbed up.
people can cuss and make sexual innuendos on here, and then I'll allow those comments through.
Oh yeah, between me and Peter actually raced to see who we can get the comment in or approve the comment the fastest.
So Daniel, funny story about cars not being winter worthy. We had to go over to the Seattle for a funeral like 15 years ago in my mom's Civic. The weather was fine on our end. Coming back, there was a snowstorm. It took us like 4 hours to cross the pass.
Oh, did I tell you that I actually got stuck or I actually was in the pass when they closed the pass?
Mm.
1 year? Yeah, driving back from college in a Honda Civic, which we all know is about as reliable in the snow as.
Yeah, it was a Civic.
Yeah, so we were driving back, and it was three me and two of my college buddies, and we're just sitting there going, what? And we were 15 miles the whole way.
Yeah.
That's-
Every time my dad got momentum, some 4-wheel drive or all-wheel drive vehicle would be in front, would cut him off, and then hit the brakes. And we're like, we just started going. The funniest thing was there's this lady in a Ranger who needed to take a break, so she parked because we were stopped, hopped over the cement, the barrier, dropped trowel, and all of a sudden her truck just started. So she's hurrying up, trying to get
That's awesome.
hop over.
We love you too, Rick. Daniel's Kwame can get nasty when the road turns to slush. It's pretty wide open, but that's not great. Oh, I thought. So that was a you text.
Yeah, it was. It's good. The beer, this beer. So this is the hef that they were asking about, and you said it turned into more of an American lager.
Yeah, like a wheat
It
lager.
doesn't taste like a heft to me.
I think of more like an American wheat, but like a lager.
Sunny having that.
There is still some esterification in there. It was there as soon as I poured, and now it's gone. So it's light. There's a phenol component that's there.
Yeah.
At first I was like lemon pepper. The more I taste it, it doesn't make my mouth feel like polyphenol, but it almost tastes like polyphenol. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, I still got the grainy from the wheat, and then a little bit of a tartness, that you get from a hef strain.
Yeah, it's almost coming across polyphenol, but I don't think it is. I think it's fermentation.
And this is pre-me, so.
Yeah.
I know
If I turned my brain off, I probably wouldn't notice it, but tasting brain on.
Well, I was in here yesterday to make sure I had enough water all set up, and the bartender mentioned it to me, and so I was like, no, I'm going to try it. And as I try it, it's like, yeah, it doesn't definitely taste like what it used to taste like.
Yeah.
And especially since I just kegged a hef too.
Yeah. My first reaction just off the nose was that was going to be like a lemon pepper kind of phenol, like lemony, peppery, bright
Yeah.
kind of phenol. But the more I taste it, the more it's like overly fermented, turned into polyphenol. Like not you started out with hose water polyphenol, but like polyphenol from something fermentation happening.
Yep.
Is what I get. But yeah, it's definitely not full banana thick hef.
Well, and
Yeah.
we haven't been underpitching our hefts yet, and that's the next hef I do. I'm going to underpitch it.
Also, precursor acids are going to be pretty key to getting that big banana flavor. So if you do a phytic acid rest,
Okay.
or a ferulic acid rest, or if you have it for the
When do I do those? Because I've never done those.
Maybe in your mash, it's stepping up. It's starting a
Oh.
little bit lower temperature and step up.
Yeah, but it's,
The-
it's a
the-
low temperature, like starting out at like 100 mashing.
Yeah. And the ferulic, it gets more clove, right?
Yeah.
But that extends my brew day.
Well, then tell Damon to mash in for you, and then just finish it out, or vice versa. Split it with somebody, or do an overnight, and then, start overnight, and then.
But we're on propane.
Well, no, for the.
Bring in the anvil.
You use
Use your
your-
water.
Yeah, exactly. You,
Immersion
you
chiller.
use one of your hot water sources, to just have water that's at 180 degrees, and then you pump your mash water through your chiller.
Okay.
It's sitting in the hot water, and then back over to the top,
Yeah.
and then water comes out at 100 degrees, comes back in at 180, and slowly raises the entire mash temperature up.
I'm turning off my mic real quick.
Yes, Daniel, ferulic acid is clove. I just confirmed with Peter.
Yes.
Actually, the split wheat beer batch with actual heavy yeast and then a Belgian yeast that I got all banana from. And I actually prefer the Belgian yeast as far as like, oh, it's a heavy to get more of that banana.
Yeah. People don't realize you can play with, as long as you can play with temperatures and things like precursor acids and stuff like that, you can manipulate flavors a lot more. Like everyone's like, oh, I just didn't like that yeast. I'm like, you probably just didn't use the yeast like the people who use the yeast.
Yeah.
So there's always something you're not thinking of.
And I'm sure there's all those compounds within whatever the actual grain is, kind of like the purple Egyptian, and
Yeah.
maybe it contributes a certain acid profile that it's not going to be on your report of protein and stuff that you don't even know about.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of locked-in compounds. I mean, like that's the biggest thing with like the DMS. I'm gonna call it a myth at this point. The DMS myth is like DMSO was a precursor that was when malts got super modified and well stored and properly done, kind of just went away.
Yeah.
Was DMSO was the bigger precursor based on the malting process than SMM was, and so people didn't realize that there's something else that was there that we just had to figure out why. But with undermodified Pilsen malts, obviously SMM was there, and so SMM was the original, like old school brewing days, how you got DMS in your beer.
Yeah. So does chip malt have a higher likelihood of that because it's like an undermodified grain?
It would technically, yeah. So if you use chip malt as a base, which I don't know why you would, it would have a higher likelihood of it. But I think pretty much everything the base malt like even Heidelberg, which is it's not undermodified, but it is underkilned. And kilning is where the SMM gets driven off in most modified malts today. So the SMM is like unlocked during the modification process and then driven off during the kilning process. But even Heidelberg malt, you don't get DMS from, or it doesn't have the SMM precursor, which is crazy. Someone got mad at me at our.
Someone's asking about temperatures, but
What's
I think they're asking about fermentation temperature, and we're talking about the ferulic acid, which is in the mash.
Yeah, we're talking about mash temperatures, or so. Yeah, ferulic acid is 110 to 115. Phytic acid is like 95 to 105. So phytic acid is the first acid rest that you get that actually contributes more to pH change, and ferulic acid is less for pH change and more for flavor.
All right, Daniel, see you later.
Hi, Daniel. I miss you.
Share beer and mead with us too. Concurrent viewers 29.
But it looks like he's asked.
Peter, I was gonna say we've been slowing down in viewers, so if we want to cut it at any point in time.
All right, I just figured we'd get to pretty close to the end of the boil and then go there.
We got 38 minutes still.
A big part of doing this for me was just learning all the different things that I can do.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's cool to be able to show people the brew day live on stream and then also be able to ask questions while the brew day is happening. But also, it's doubly beneficial for me because I can like learn different setup things that I can do at the same time.
Yeah, it's also nice because it's not necessarily a involved brew.
Yeah, exactly.
Recipe.
It's not like we're running around the entire time like, oh, I gotta clean this at this point.
Which is like I'm just starting to clean stuff because it's like I like to get done.
Yeah.
Versus I need to clean this because I need to. And honestly, when I double batch, they can't hear me really too much. But when I double batch, I don't really even clean the mash tun.
Yeah.
I just straight in.
Dump it in, put the new one in. Yeah.
Put the new grain.
Yeah. No point in really doing that. So.
Yeah.
It means I actually might get a little bit better sugar extraction from the leftover wort.
Yeah.
So. We're gonna move these over here. Set out of the way.
Dump the new grain. He's talking about if he does a double batch, so if he does back-to-back batches, what he does instead of cleaning everything out in between is he'll just like mostly empty out the old mash and then just put the new grain right on top of it.
Yeah, get down to maybe.
Yes, after removing the old grain, yeah. I think, yeah.
I get down to maybe like half a pound of grain, if that. Probably less than half a pound of grain left in it.
Yeah.
Pretty similar to what you got
Yeah.
between.
Swish, 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 swish. That's what you do for your coffee anyway. Yeah, same here. Quick rinsey poo and then back to the next round.
Rick Morty asking 24C, it will make a good beer with 18 psi. Like that kind of just depends on the beer you're making and the yeast and everything.
24 is 75 degrees.
So he's using USO5.
That'd be too warm for USO5.
But he's
So-
also at 18 psi, so would that kick down the peach esterification that USO5 usually has, or?
I haven't played around too much with pressure fermenting on
With
USO5,
USO5.
but for the most part, USO5 has been more finicky if we do the.
Anything above like 65 or something. Or
Yeah,
68.
so USO5 for me has been big pitch, low temp. Not that I use it very much anymore. I think there's better options, even for pressure fermenting. If you're going in that route, I'd probably pressure ferment with something like, Independence or, that'd be in dry, the Mangrove Jacks.
Liberty.
No, not Liberty. It's their U.S. West Coast. Liberty is like one of the European strains. Or in Cellar Science, I think it's the same as the Nectar in Cellar Science. Independence. Something a little bit fruitier. And then that's not as finicky.
Or if you use something like citrus or whatever, and not even have to worry about pressure ferment as far as limiting any esters, but
Citrus works well, yeah. That'd be maybe the way to go if you can get access to the liquid. But if you're in Poland, is that what you said his name?
Yeah.
If you're in Poland, that'd be hard.
it says M44 West Coast for mangrove.
Yeah. Yeah, M44, the West Coast and Mangrove is
He
actually
says
the
he's doing
independent
it
strain.
for a hazy.
Oh, for a hazy? Yeah, you
Yeah.
definitely want to go with something different then.
We're gonna do our first heat. I can turn on because I'm not rinsing it at the moment. Okay. Hey, I'm back. I was gonna say I'm gonna do my first major hazy besides the homebrew comp hazy in the spring. So
Like homebrew hazy or here hazy?
here hazy.
Nice. German hazy?
Some Ariana and whole melon. And
No, we're actually going to go more of a traditional hazy, West Coast hazy.
Okay.
We're still going to use Pilsner malts because that's all we use.
Yeah. I think that makes sense. West Coast hazy.
Dumping out all the extra liquid.
It's amazing how much extra water is in the mash tun, like when I did the Iron Goat and stuff, because they just keep the thing going until you hit the volume in the boil kettle.
Yeah.
They don't worry about like, oh, let's have this much, and then they like try to rinse it out.
That's what I did.
That seems pretty inefficient.
Well, that's what I did for this one a little bit because I got
Or at least
distracted.
that's what it seemed like to me. But yeah, there's like a ton of.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, I've done that at the steel barrel when I was brewing down there too. I did that a handful of times, just like made sure I got the volume and.
Well,
lost a little bit of
the
shit
big
in
thing
it.
is because of our false bomb and where our spricket is, there's 3-4 gallons that I can't get.
Yeah.
Do you have a thing on it or not? Or is it just open ball valve?
It's just open ball valve.
Yeah, I'd look at like a dip tube thing. Since
Maybe
you have a dip tube, it's gonna be underneath the false bottom anyways, so you're just gonna be picking up liquid for the most part. That's already recirculating.
Mm-hmm.
Hazy for bio.
Just a thought.
And it's going to be our tiger because we have our lion and our grizzly. So lion, tigers, and bears. Oh my.
The tiger hazy?
Yeah. Okay, there we go. I can close this all down and just start dumping now. Ooh, that's warm. Oh shit. Oh, that's that. Oh, it's time.
Wish I had a better zoom lens that could like showed off what's going on there. That's as far as it zooms in now.
Well, that's about my day quite a bit. Like getting this done.
It's also nice getting it done before it congeals on the sides and everything.
Yeah. Well, I usually rinse down the sides, but I don't do the full clean out empty until I'm done with the boil. So I was like, I could just do it.
Already here.
We're here, we're sitting around.
You're also still just figuring out everything anyway, so it's
Yeah.
a good practice.
Yeah, I think this is my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is my 8th brew, I think, technically. Because I count the double barrels as two
Just
brews. Because it just takes so much longer, and I have to actually do all the math and still calculating.
Yeah.
But I don't take the gravity until I get both batches of beer into the tank.
Yeah. In case you have one, the first half's higher or lower, and
Yep.
it all equalizes.
Oh. Why did I mess you up where I was putting you? So, okay. I need to move some stuff around. You are middle. The most awkward thing about this, the brewery, which again I actually adore, is the plugins are all behind the tanks. So I actually have to walk around to the other side to unplug stuff appropriately. So, yeah. And like we're like the fact that I'm already at boil by the time I mash in.
Yeah.
Because those of you who don't know, usually I'm here by 11
Yeah.
at the latest. I try to get here earlier, but should I unplug the other? No, we'll leave you. Just you are getting moved over to this side now. Oh. Well, I'll mop the floor anyway.
All right, how much more time do we have left in the boil?
Jimmy?
27 minutes.
27 minutes.
And how close are we getting to the next competition?
About 2 minutes, 2.5, 2 minutes. Got the other white cup on the sill.
Yeah. And then the stuff that's on the scale end is the 5.
Okay.
5. I need to wait. That's my big problem is I need to wait that till that cools down, so I can pick it up with stuff.
You are welcome for the content today.
Yep. Also, what I'm doing is I'm just shifting tubes around so that way I can have space to work and cool the beer. Since that's always an issue. Also,
when you got time.
when I do my cleaning of the tanks, my boil kettle is what I heat up the caustic in to make sure that that is as clean as possible.
Yeah.
Because the boil kettle, I'm putting just fresh hot liquid in every time. So, but I make sure both are clean, but I do my caustic and then a rinse on the boil or on the mash tun every time.
Yep.
And then here's this.
Yeah, cleaning as you go is pretty essential. Saves a lot of your time.
What?
John Hawk says, cleaning is key, I learned. And he also says, thank you so much for the dense content. And I said, yes, cleaning as you go is also key, and especially if you can use the same caustic to clean
Multiple
2 or
tanks.
3 tanks,
multiple
yeah.
tanks, then
And then the other thing I always do is I always make sure I rinse like after I'm done dumping one thing of water into the drain, I rinse it every time, just to make sure that the drain stays as clean as humanly possible.
which is good because you don't want any flies.
Sorry, I was gonna say you also hear me swear a lot on this stream because of different things. And did you hit the okay?
Yep.
Okay. Wonderful. I figured.
Do you guys normally use Brewfather?
Yeah, I use that's.
That's good.
I'm still learning all the little things about Brewfather.
Yeah. There's a lot of things I probably don't use that I could use. But
Here it is. Okay, cool. Sorry, since I was like, I have downtime, I can get set up for the next thing of the process. Okay, cool. There's the water. There's the water.
now with Genus, instead of having an auger that lifts all the grain up to the mash tun, you just need a chute
I know.
instead of having to carry it down the
Just for
steps.
upstairs, yeah.
Just get an old kid slide.
There we go. Just start putting slides together.
One of the old swirlies. And then when you're done,
Just right back down into it, yeah. can
Wait,
go
I
with
want
a
a slide.
scraper that scoops it all down.
How is this not? Oh, that's right.
Talking of Brewfather, how do you input Whirlpool hops on the Brewfather? Do you know?
I don't.
I just put it as a hop stand for the setting, and then you put your time in, and then you can adjust the temperature right down in the hop selection.
That's kind of what I do on Brewer's Friend. And then if depending on other things, I might adjust the utilization. but on Brewer's Friend, they have a utilization percentage. You can like say
Yeah.
how much expected IBUs you want to get off of it.
Yeah, so with Brewfather, it's all built in. So like we have the temperature set in for our elevation, so that drops. The utilization's already built into everything.
Crazy.
And then so when you put the lower temperature for the whirlpool or hop stand, I'd assume that it automatically will change the utilization because
Yeah,
the boil is already part of that. So,
because it expects the rate of isomerization and all that.
so I think we're like 90% here with our elevation, something like that.
Normally I put in 82C for 30 minutes, and the bio is coming. 82C.
Let's make sure I
Let's see
put this
what
up
that
first.
is.
I think 80 is,
So that's about 180 degrees.
yeah, I was
Yeah.
like 170 or something, would be,
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah, 179F.
Yeah, that's about what I do. So 80, the 80 degree hop stand. This depends a lot on your hops and even your yeast and stuff like that. But the 180 is what I usually get for, like if I want more citrusy type tropical, like lemons, limes, oranges, even pineapple, things like that. Whereas if I drop it just a little bit below, so like 140 to 160 range, as I'm cooling down, that's when I expect like the more floral tropical fruits to come out, the fruitier tropical fruits to come out. That's an overgeneralization.
Okay. Got that hooked up. And while I'm chilling, just for Jimmy as well, that's when I do the whirlpool is while I start chilling. Just
Yeah,
get the beer as cool as possible, as quickly as possible.
right.
So, which is always annoying figuring out like all the hookups properly.
Yeah.
So,
It's nice you have everything on QDs though. I do not have everything on QDs.
what was that, Peter?
I said it's nice that you have everything on QDs though. I don't.
Yep.
So I'm always playing around with little like clamps and stuff like that.
Yeah. And honestly, if you can order an extra one of these,
I've got them in stock.
you got these in stock?
Mm-hmm.
Because I know me and Damon were talking about the just regular barbed,
Yeah.
which I know you don't have in stock right now.
Barb to QD.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, because but I was like, ooh, actually a second one of these might be more useful than the
Barb
barbed
one. Yeah.
because I've started using the barb more or the QD more when
Yeah.
during transfer.
QD to TC I do have.
Oh, for the camera, QDs are these. I figured, and I'm not going to pull off one of my barbs because all my barbs are in use right now. It's pretty much a quick connect or a quick disconnect. So here I can grab one of the fittings. So this is the barb side. So we've been looking for these, which I technically have all set up, so I don't need any more of those. But if I can get a second one of these, then that makes my day easier, but then it just clicks and then boop. So there's your connection.
And they're surprisingly good at not leaking.
Yeah. Which actually I need to pull this out anyway. And there's my Sanny. Okay. This is, oh, I need a barbed. I was gonna say what you guys didn't see, but you can hear in the background is me frantically hooking up stuff. Not frantically, but going through my drawers and grabbing stuff to hook up to the tank to plug and fill. Cool.
Dang it! You're gonna have to fish through the stools for. If you want. Yeah. So there's a. Tooth very new.
And for the chat, I do have a Sani spray bottle that I've been using to Sani everything. Well, Sani everything on the cold side. Get that closed off. Let's go ahead and pull this tube. I don't feel like making a new batch, so we'll use this and then I'll dump the next one of Sani water. Oh, you're going to need a Sprague, I can tell. Okay, that's set up. I need to pull that off. So we already talked about this in homebrewing, but the big thing I learned about going from homebrewing to professional, since we're on a professional system, the amount of cleaning triples.
Yeah, you do a lot more cleaning than you do brewing.
Got my oxygen over there. And a lot of hose switches and attachments and
So it's either you do a lot of switching or you have a lot of hose sticking in there.
yep. And I prefer the switching because it shrinks how much cleaning I have to do.
Yeah.
I think one might be asking on that one, but that makes good.
Pilsner. Kilsner.
Pilsner.
Yeah.
I was gonna say if it wasn't partially carved, I'd pull off a sample of the new pills, but it's carved and I don't want to touch that.
No, the cold lab that kills me right there.
Oh yeah. Is it pouring better today or is it still super foamy?
It's pretty foamy.
It went super foamy on us.
Systems.
That's currently my favorite beer to drink.
Did you have to bring the tubing and stuff?
I did.
It was like super slow out of his catering. And then Allie went and poured it first. That's fair. Like the whole glass was full. I'm like, what the heck?
Yeah.
And I go down there. He's like, he's got this. He's got like 6 feet. I think it's probably like 3/8.
Ooh.
And then
Ooh,
it's
hot.
connected to like where the tower is. It's built in with like probably 1/4 inch vinyl. It's got like a little double bar.
Yeah.
No, we're gonna pull all that out. Put one line in.
Yeah, we need to. I brought 2 different options of line. So I brought the vinyl line and I brought the EJ Bev line. So you choose which one. Yeah, I got that in the ball locks and everything like that.
He's like, do you really need 15 feet? He's like, just start longer.
Yeah, then you can cut it down.
I'm like, it's better to have slow pour and no foam than foam.
Yeah. Cheers from Poland.
Is that Rick?
Cheers, Rick Morty. How much time we got left?
13:45 on the boil and 8:45 the last 25.
All right, so 8:45, and then we're gonna add the last hop addition. We'll try to get a shot of that. Then we'll start working on closing out. If anyone that's still here has got questions, throw them at me.
or if you have Alabama or any of the A states, if you have ideas for any of the A states,
Yeah, which
throw 'em
fish
in chat.
should we brew with?
Alaska is going to be juniper.
Yeah. Salmon.
I am not necessarily opposed to that idea.
So I've got an idea if we do so if we go salmon for Alaska, smoking it on a wood, cedar plank, and then using the drippings from like the chunks of the cedar plank as an aging component would be my idea for getting the salmon flavor, juice, the smokiness in there.
Yeah.
Kind of the same concept that Alaskan Brewing does for their smoked porter. Smoked salmon, the fat drippings, infused into some wood, and then that's what they use for theirs.
I like the idea of because the A states are Alabama, Arkansas, Alaska,
Alabama, Alaska, Arizona, Arkansas,
Arizona. I think we're going to do probably a pepper beer.
or a prickly pear.
Oh no, we're
Jinx.
we're doing prickly pear because we're going to save the chili for New Mexico,
That makes sense.
because that's green chili burgers in New Mexico are chili peppers on a burger.
I mean, I've also done an enchilada beer, and
Yeah.
the enchilada beer I made is pretty dang good.
I was going to say it definitely was one of the better Willet brews.
I was pretty proud of that one. Completely by accident. It was an accidental success, but I was pretty proud of that one.
The other option would be the Nepales,
Oh, yeah.
which isn't really the only downside. Like I guess they don't have much flavor.
Yeah. You can use palm sugar, though.
But it's the palm cactus.
Isn't that where palm sugar comes from, or is that from...
Palm, it's like a palm fruit or whatever.
Yeah, I was
Oh.
going to say palm trees were.
I remember that the cactus was the fruit, but...
Also, I do have Whirlflock in this in the 5-minute edition.
Flack.
2 tablets for the whole batch, just so that way they helps clear up the beer when we lager it.
Yeah, makes sense.
Wow, I think this is the quickest I've gotten set up. Mostly because Jimmy did all the manual labor for me. But I got that. Yep. The only thing I need to hook up is the oxygen, which I don't hook up until I start transferring into the tank.
You got to transfer in the chill.
Yeah, because
Cactus juice.
What's that one soda? It's like that cactus soda or whatever.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Also, I love how we have the only 2 people chatting are not from the United States.
We got Japan and Poland.
Opposite sides of the world, too.
Are they? Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, they're like almost polar opposites. Jingo, what, do you sleep, buddy? Because shouldn't it be like...
Hey, Tyler's here. USA! USA!
Yeah. Yeah, no, and then we have no states with
America.
B, and then we have a ton of C's.
Yeah, California, Colorado, Connecticut.
Well, Colorado, we've already... You're not doing a fish beer for Colorado, but we already know what we're doing.
Yes.
No, I was going to say, it's the Rocky Mountain Oyster.
Yeah.
No, that's Montana. They have the Testicle Festival.
Oh.
Yeah,
Ooh.
so we got options for that.
Yeah.
That's how you'll have.
But everyone thinks of Colorado for the Rocky Mountains.
Yeah.
But it's not Rocky Mountain oysters.
I will say that Oregon, the only hop we're using is Willamette.
For Oregon, I also want to use an actual duck.
I thought you were saying actual organ. Liver,
Yeah. Let's get some actual organs involved here.
Actually, we could do a duck liver.
Ooh, Peking.
Duck liver, yeah, it's
Peking,
double.
No, Peking duck with the orange and everything with the.
So I mean, I'm also a WSU, so like part of it's like, hey, if we like, have to murder a duck.
Low barn. That's legitimately what I've been doing in the background. I'm just having to be mic'd up.
Yeah.
See, Peking duck right there. Get that orange with the Willamette.
Peking duck sauce flavor. There we go.
Well, because Willamette hops come from the Willamette Valley.
Yeah.
Oh, and then we can actually do a little bit. We instead of just the orange, we could do like a grape for the Willamette for the Pinot Noir.
Oh, my mom had an idea of doing something aged in Pinot Noir barrels.
Ooh,
for California or something?
No,
for Oregon.
no, Oregon.
Oregon Pinot is like a thing. So like,
No, this is a fun fact. So when Patrick Stewart on an Ask Me Anything was asked, he goes, "What's your favorite drink?" And he goes, when they're like, "Oh, of course, besides Earl Grey," he goes, "Even above Earl Grey, Oregon's Pinot Noir."
yeah,
He's
that's what they're known for. Yeah. And
Yeah.
because so what happens is the Willamette Valley where wine grapes are grown in Oregon specifically is like super sloped and rocky. So instead of being like dense, soil like both California and Washington have, the Willamette Valley is specifically known for that rocky mineralic soil that their vineyards are grown on, and that for whatever reason with Pinot Noir grapes just lends just like a whole different property.
Oh yeah, well, and there's like around Salem, there's 30 wineries within an hour drive of Salem.
Yeah.
Like that's traditionally what my family has done in the past for Black Friday. Is we just go because they all the wineries, even if they don't have tasting rooms, they open up and they actually like their production facility. They set up tables and you can taste. So we just go wine hopping. And then there's one winery that has a couple beers on tap that are usually pretty good that we go to at the end for me, specifically for me because I need to clean my palate with a good beer.
Yeah.
And they usually do have a Pilsner or a Kolschan. So I'm usually a very happy camper. They have one IPA and then one like lager on.
Yeah.
So. Rick, don't ask if it's okay to talk. Just talk. We may
Yeah.
ignore you, but
Yeah.
We'll get to you eventually.
and that's not ignoring us because that's not us ignoring you because we want to ignore you. That's us ignoring you because we get in conversation, especially me and Peter. Because me and Peter realized that we're way more similar than we originally thought. Also, did you see, Peter, speaking of stuff, did you see my dad updated the GSL? He's out of town this weekend, so you're good. Okay, I gotta tell Megan and Damon that I'm gonna pay for like 2 or 3 beers. Okay. Are you coming this? Peter, are you gonna be here this coming week for the fest beers? Okay. Our Stein holding contest is Saturday, which I know you're out of town because you have that cross country. Or no, you're not out of town. You probably have cross country.
I think I'm in town. I don't know what I'm doing next Saturday. My wife might need me.
I will.
I've spent a lot of time ignoring my family because of working 100 hours a week.
Yeah.
And so I need to like really like hard hit making up on that. And then I also still need to work like, 70 to 80 hours of normal.
battery's out again.
Which one?
This one.
Oh. Damn, that receiver is like running out of batteries like crazy. Yeah, we're almost done. We'll just close it out. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to get our last little hop edition in and
Yeah, I got 15 seconds. We're good.
yeah. And then we'll close it out. Ask any last minute questions. We'll show you the hop edition. We'll show you the hop edition. That's it. And then I can start working on building some stuff down.
Okay, and it's hot edition time.
They are in there. All right, so 5 minutes, all we're going to do is chilling down. I'll do a quick swipe over of all the stuff that's going on back there. I feel like you guys kind of get what's going on.
Well, they can look at how my tubing's all set up on the floor.
You got boil, chiller, cold water, and it's going into fermenter
Over there.
over there.
So I have the sight glass and everything set up. So that way I can see, even though.
So that's what's going on. There's not going to be a Whirlpool hop edition or anything like that. This kettle is also not set up to do a full Whirlpool, so for protein break, there are just going to be some proteins in the fermenter, which isn't a big deal.
We do.
Y'all going to be at the Northwest Craft Brew Fest and in the Expo Center. That is a possibility. I'm not going to say yes for sure,
Peter,
but Sky is working on it.
when I do cold crash my loggers, I step down my cold crash
Oh, yeah. Cold.
just so that they're aware for future.
So for this one, the fermentation side of things, if you got more questions, ask them on Discord specifically, since Matt's going to be the one brewing it, and he's very active on Discord.
I'm active on Discord. I check the messages, and that's about it.
He checks the messages. Well, that is more active than I am. He looks at Discord more than once a month. But thank you, anybody who has been here, especially those who've been here for like almost 4 hours now. That's crazy, and you guys are awesome. I appreciate you so much. Anybody who super chatted, thank you so much. We'll, like us, follow us on all socials, like us, all that stuff. Those of you who are here, I'm sure you already are. And we'll see you next week for a more. We're just doing like more talking headsy next week. Or we're doing. Perfect. So for building a birthday cake pastry chart recipe and talking about whatever other subjects we come up with. Love you. I love you too. Bye.